Eat, save, and be merry with low prices and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh. Whether you're looking for sweet deals on holiday treats or your dream gingerbread house, outshine the tree with holiday deals delivered right to your doorstep. Prime members save even more with deals on thousands of grocery items and up to 50% off on weekly favorites. Celebrate the holiday season with savings and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Do you know the number one thing that surprises engaged couples? Take a guess. The sheer amount of decisions they have to make while planning a wedding. Indoors or outdoors? How many guests? Are kids invited? Controversial. Which cake flavor? Seriously, how do you even begin to figure out what's right for you? That's where Zola comes in. Zola has everything you need to make every wedding decision a piece of cake, from choosing your dream wedding venue and vendors to deciding how to best spend your budget. With tons of customizable wedding websites, save the dates, and invites, every detail will feel like you. Zola will even help you choose the gifts, experiences, and cash funds you really want. The next thing you know, you've planned your whole wedding all in one place. From getting engaged to getting married, Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place. Start planning at Zola.com. That's ZOLA.com.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, you might remember this story from about 6 years ago when the state of Hawaii accidentally issued an alert instructing citizens to seek shelter due to incoming ballistic missiles equipped with nuclear warheads. Well, it took about 38 minutes for the state to issue the follow-up, oops, our bad message.
Sorry.
Now, authorities, they blamed it on a miscommunication. Naturally, the people of Hawaii were not pleased, but it's better than being nuked. Well, fast forward to last week. In the bustling metropolis of Clarksville, Tennessee, a high school there, they initiated an active shooter drill, which sadly is something the kids have gotten accustomed to. The thing about a drill is that you have to say the words, "This is a drill." And unfortunately, the school said this is not a drill. And chaos ensued. Now, the good news is it just was a drill and there was no active shooter. There was also no active shooter Sunday night at Pacific Place in downtown Seattle. However, the active shooter alarm went off at the mall, sending shoppers running for their lives. Now, management, they blamed it on a technical issue that they say has since been resolved. Let's just hope so. And look, these situations, they're pretty extreme, but things go wrong on the job, from trivial things to major things. Like Miles said, a waitress at a Florida IHOP, she was fired after 13 years of working there because she gave a homeless guy a stack of pancakes. Trivial. Meanwhile, a cop in Georgia, he won Deputy of the Year.
Yeah.
And then was arrested for a DUI as he tried to direct traffic outside of an elementary school. Not a great look. In fact, a recent survey says that getting drunk at work is the number one taboo. It was worse than doing drugs at work. That was the number one thing. Don't get drunk at work. I don't always agree with that, but that's what the survey said. But anyway, today we're talking about those royal screw-ups. That moment where someone says, hey, man, you really screwed the pooch. You just made a big mistake, but mistakes happen. And today we want you to share with an answer to this question: who unintentionally made a really bad decision?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but y'all, away we go. Welcome to Season 19, Episode number 4,229. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Sit and Spin. Today we test our musical knowledge.
Uh-oh.
This is when you know you are getting old. when you're reaching the stage in life where you need to get the F off my lawn. When you get mad when the grocery store changes the locations where they put certain products, this is potentially one of those lists.
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost a quarter way through the century. So the fine folks at uprocks.com, they decided to rank the 100 best hits so far of this century.
Okay. All right.
Today we have the top 10 songs.
All right.
Over the last 24 years. So this is so far in this century. So a quarter of the way there, these are the best songs. I'll give you an example outside of the top 10. Ted, I believe you're going to be the overall winner.
I feel very confident until about 2018.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's about your cutoff of, yeah.
So if it's 2021 and we're dancing to Mi Porto Bonito, who are we listening to?
Bad Bunny.
Yes, that is correct.
I only said that because I know that the dude has a Latin influence, and you said the name of the song.
Okay,
I don't know the song.
What about in 2003? You remember getting down with Get Low.
Oh, that's Little John.
And?
In the Yin Yang Twins?
And the Yin Yang Twins.
All right.
That's still in my wheelhouse.
Okay, it's going there today. Hold on, we're going home.
Is that the name of the song?
Yep.
What year?
2013.
Hold on, we're going home.
We're going home.
Is that a country song?
Comes in at number 22 on the list.
As the 22nd best song
of the century.
Of the century.
That's correct.
Yeah. I don't even know the name.
Can we get a hint? Is it country?
No, it's not. It's
I'll say Calvin Harris.
It's Canadian Hebrew.
Drake.
That is correct. Right. It is Drake.
Wow. Yeah.
Hold on, we're going home. I'll give you one more. Sicko Mode.
Oh, man,
Number
that's
18.
Travis Scott.
That is Travis Scott. Okay. We haven't even touched the top 15.
Yeah, right.
So see how you
Sicko Mode is a good song.
As you play along there with us as we...
I'm sure I've heard it because my kid loves Travis Scott. I just don't know what... Because Travis Scott, to me, he's one of the more brilliant musicians. Not that I can name a song he does, but where he chooses to put his music. And he's massive in the gaming world.
Not only that, for a rapper, he has the most rock star energy.
Okay, I've seen bits and pieces of his shows and all that.
Yeah, it's a different level.
But my kid learned about Travis Scott as a direct result. I don't remember which game he was playing, but this guy, I can't even explain how they put all
well,
this
he married
together.
my girlfriend. That's how I know her.
Who's she married to? Who's he married to?
Who's your girlfriend? Is he married to Rihanna?
That's A$AP Rocky.
Damn it. They look the same. Yeah, see how I am? All black rappers look the same in my book. They look the same.
They do look a little bit similar with their hairstyle.
I mean,
you're not completely wrong.
You know, it's like Nick Nolte and Gary Busey. I mean, hey.
That's a good comparison.
And actually, as the years went on, they got more and more similar.
Exactly.
Well, and not everybody. A lot of people have dreads. They have specific, I don't know how to, Miles isn't wrong on this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, my kid's all about it.
How about number 16 on the list, Bodak Yellow?
That's Cardi B.
That is Cardi B from 2017.
That's a great song.
Okay. So
I should listen to these sometime.
We have the top 10 coming up. As we will sit and spin at 4:30 today on the show. Today on the question, who unintentionally made a really bad decision? As far as people in life that you've known, whether they are people that you've worked with, who you're like, how in the hell did you manage to pull that off? As far as,
and sometimes it's you.
And sometimes people don't get fired. Sometimes they do. It just depends on how bad the mistake is.
Not just the mistake, but if you can cover it and disavow all knowledge. Like if there's no real evidence to, even though everyone probably knows it's you. Not saying I've been in that situation less than 5 times, but I could think one place I worked in particular, 2 major F-ups, and I've told both of these before, just I am the lead cook in the kitchen. We're doing a catering event. It's starting to wind down. One of the waiters there, PJ was his name, great guy. He had been working the event with us. Toward the end of the night, we're all kind of settling in the kitchen, and he just asked me, hey, man, are there any nuts, because I knew he had a nut allergy, and these little pastry things that we had? And I said, no, man, you're fine. And he popped it in his mouth, and as he put it in his mouth, I'm like, oh, hey, man, there's hazelnuts in it. It was too late. He started closing down, and luckily his girlfriend worked there with him, but I felt bad because he didn't have a mild nut allergy. I guess is the best way to explain that. So we're watching, goes down to the floor, the whole 9, the EpiPen, all this kind of thing, and he needed 45 minutes to recover, man. And I know he's a little pissed, but at that same place, I'm not responsible for this, but I was there witnessing this and certainly encouraging what we thought would be funny, which was a Shamiqua doll And we tied all these balloons. I don't know where she came from. We don't know why she had her, but she kept showing up around the restaurant. So she kind of became like our unofficial mascot. Well, it was right before Christmas, I believe. But anyway, we had all these helium balloons, probably from another catering. And we're going to tie them all around Shamiqua and send her on her way. And this is the same museum that your coworker broke that toothpick chair.
Yep.
And so we released...
Major bad decision. Is it in that chair?
Yeah, and this equaled that because there's another sculpture. This sculpture is outdoors, and it is a kinetic sculpture. It's, maybe 75 feet tall, and it spins around and has all these gears and this kind of thing. But people, when they visit the city, even if you don't go into the museum, they would take a look at this thing because it's wind-powered and kind of cool, right? Moderately cool. Yep. We tied all the balloons around Shamiqua, and we launched her to her freedom. Keep in mind, we're on the 4th floor of this place. That's where the restaurant was. As soon as she crosses the railing, the sculpture called the Whirligig spins around, catches the balloons, and it gets wrapped up in her gears. So now it looks like a racial epithet, which is not what we're going for at all, because when she got caught in the gears, she's now spinning 75 feet around in circles where it looks like a noose around her neck. This was not anyone's goal. We really just thought it'd be funny, watch her float to Federal Hill, blah, blah, blah. She gets caught up in this thing. Well, the sculpture's just far enough away from our reach on the balcony, like, we can't get her down. So for like an hour, we're all just staring at this thing like, oh my God, this looks so bad. And this is not at all what we're trying to do. Anyway, there's nothing we can do, so we just left it. But the restaurant closed at like midnight, whatever, so there's not really anybody else there. The next morning I get there, it is a big to-do. Now, no one knows that we had anything to do with it, and I knew when they asked, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And a security guard, big brother, pulls me outside. He's like, look at that S-man. I'm tired of this racist stuff. But I can't tell him, like, dude, that was not the motivation at all. This was a drunken decision from a bunch of us who decided to be funny for her to float away. But when you looked at this thing, it's going around, but because it's a spinning sculpture, it's not like you have someone on staff that can just climb up there and cut it down. So they have to contact the original artist who can tell you how to, like, slow this thing down. You hire a crew. It became like a news thing, and it's all about racism's flared up. And there's like 8 of us that are like, we could never speak of this. You understand this, right? Like, this is bad. The woman who owned the museum, what was her? Amy, real cool lady. I can't think of her name now. Anyway, she had to come out and go on the news and explain, we don't condone this. We don't know where it came from. She was a real kind of hippie chick, right? So nothing about her would say that she was behind it, but it was a bad look. Yep. And we had to hear about it for like a week, and we're all just like...
Did nobody just say, like, hey, maybe she was just on balloons and got caught in it?
No.
It was already too far?
We have absolutely no idea. Yeah. We can't even conjecture why that must be there, but you guys are saying it's a racist thing. That must be what it is. You got to stay in that narrative, brother, because once you step outside of that, I feel like that's when suspicion falls on you.
Yeah.
So we're just like, don't know. No idea.
As far as our industry goes, there's a myriad of reasons why you could get fired in radio. And I've seen a lot.
You don't even know.
You don't. Sometimes it's just like, look, man, we're just moving on. Sometimes it's the fact that maybe the ratings aren't good, or the station will flip formats, and next thing you know, you're out of a job. But as we do have a list of the top workplace taboos, getting drunk is number 1. All right, so we'll read you the whole list coming up. But either way, as far as drinking is concerned, there's no. If you've listened to this show for a number of years, you know we drink.
Yeah.
We've gotten in trouble for drinking at work. We've gotten in trouble a number of times. I think, Ted, you and Mike are the least guilty of these things. We've all had...
Because they don't drink at work.
Well, right, but we've all had... That's
why they have not gotten in trouble.
We've all had
We'll
moments.
even offer you drinks, and you guys are like, dude, no. It's just no, for that very reason. That's why.
But we've all gotten in trouble for doing something stupid.
Sure.
Based on that. Whether we came in the next day drunk, because we were still drunk from the night before... end up going to a strip club, because we're messed up. There's a lot of different things that have happened over the years where we go, okay, this is justified. We're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever out of line.
No, it was just us being us. I mean, to be honest with you, we were just going with the flow. Unfortunately, that got us in trouble. Now we have, at the beginning of it, we were doing the shot of the day. We got our first ever sponsor, and that was Aha Toro Tequila.
Yes.
I do not believe they're around anymore, but they would give us.
I think they're still around. I don't know that they're still doing it because I still see it at bars.
Okay. Well, I can tell you this. They were very kind with samples.
Yeah.
So we would get bottles of Aha Toro Tequila, and keep in mind, None of us at that time were really drinking tequila because we had not stepped up to that next level of agave, of decent stuff. So,
and I had sworn it all at that point. The only thing that got me back on tequila was Aja Toro joining the fold. I had sworn it off. And even when my boss told me, I remember him saying, A.E. Dave, he was super excited. He goes, man, there's a sponsor for Shot of the Day, and they're excited about it, which makes you feel good. They do tequila, and they want to bring some in for you to sample. Yeah. And I said, hey, man, I really don't want to do that. He's like, no, dude, this is perfect. Like, they have tequila. They like your show. They understand what you're about, and you guys are drinkers. I'm like, right, yeah, look, man, I kind of swore tequila off. So then you have this quick meeting, and it's awkward. And he goes, well, I just swear off tequila. You'll drink freaking hairspray. And I said, because I kidnapped someone last time I got drunk. And then we have the conversation. He looks at me dead serious. He goes, are you being serious? I said, why would I lie to you about that? Like, look, man, I'm not against drinking tequila. It just seems that the last time I did it and I committed a felony, maybe it's not a good idea for me to go back down the road.
So this one did not involve us. We got into work one morning. I cannot remember if this happened over a weekend or it was during the weekday. But either way, we did have bottles of tequila in our office. Well, one of the employees,
I think it was over a weekend.
I think it was too.
Yeah, it was working.
It was because it was someone working, a part-timer working like an overnight shift that led to another part-timer coming in to fill in.
Well, they found that tequila, and I don't remember exactly what happened. All I know was on a Monday morning, get called into Hair Club's office, and he's not happy. And typically that would have something to do with us.
Yeah.
So the relief I felt when he explained the situation that happened to me. So whoever came in to relieve this person found them essentially passed out after drinking most of that bottle of tequila, slumped over the board at the radio station.
But the person who relieved them, I thought they were going to be the person that then contacted Hair Club to say, hey, this is what's going on. As Hair Club continued the story, they're like, well, then they basically finished what was left in the bottle. So now I have two drunk people working different shifts in the same studio.
I want to say they even went to the Hurricane or something.
It was like they threw down, man.
But we were relieved. It was not us for a change.
It's almost like a high five.
Now, also still pissed off if someone drank our tequila.
That's what irritated me.
Okay, so that double-edged, but that was a stupid move. Like I've worked the overnights before. I have gotten high on the overnights. I've had visitors up to the studio.
Yes, visitors.
While working overnights. I've done all kinds of things, but I never fell asleep, and I never passed out, and I was never so drunk. Now, I did a shift on acid.
You tripped on acid?
I did a shift on acid one night, but I was meticulous about everything that I did. I signed the log every 2 hours. I was on fire. Like, there was nothing in that job description that I didn't check that box 3 times to make sure that I did everything that I was supposed to do. And what I also did was, we had a way you could tape phone calls and everything else on an old school reel-to-reel, because that's how long ago this was. I would take all the calls on reel-to-reel, I would record every break on reel-to-reel, and I would just press play. That way,
so you don't have to talk.
I was not live. I was not live all night. I go, click, and then just play what I'd recorded, stop it, go into commercials to make sure that if I needed to read that damn thing 5 times to make it sound okay, I did. But I was absolutely meticulous on doing every single thing. So in all honesty, when I left there that morning, because I was like 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, because I've been in there for 6-8 hours, I just thought to myself, man, you know what? I kept it together. I nailed that.
When you're trying not to get caught, sometimes it's the best work you do.
Well, also, it was not my intention.
Sometimes it is not.
It was not my intention to go in that way because my buddy had come into town from Ohio. There was a party going on, and, I knew I was going to have to work the overnight. I also knew that people were having a little get-together for some friends coming in from Ohio, from out of town, blah, 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 blah. I looked at my buddy Pat, and he says, man, it's going to be a hell of a night tonight. And I said, no, it's actually not, because I'm going to leave here in an hour and go to work. He said, that's bad news, because I dropped some acid in your beer. And I went, you did what? He's like, yeah, man, I did. You don't really have to work at midnight. I was like, Pat, yes, I do, and I don't have a car. So I have to walk there, too, which
probably is better.
I was going to walk anyway, but the whole idea was just like, it was still a far walk, and I didn't want to start walking on acid and have all the lights and everything.
Get lost?
Whatever the deal is. Like, I just didn't want to, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just kind of wigged me out walking across this big-ass
Because you didn't
bridge.
plan to trip.
No, I did not. And when I walked in, just to keep it cool with a person who was already working there, I basically just like, hey, how's it going, Debbie? Oh, it's good. Debbie, my stomach is really upset. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So if you just want to put it in autopilot for a minute, it might take a minute because my stomach's not doing real well. So by the time I got out of the bathroom, she's gone. Right. So I'm like, didn't have to deal with that social interaction as much, and then just started stepping into everything that I needed to do. That was probably, as far as being messed up, the worst I've ever had to deal with. And drugs is on the list, too, as far as what you shouldn't be doing at work.
I definitely overslept an alarm Saturday night into a Sunday. And we had been at PowerPoint Live in Baltimore the night before.
Yeah.
I had been spending some time with a coworker, go back to her house, blah, blah, blah. By the time I get home, I just slept till the alarm. So I'm supposed to be at work at 6 a.m., right? I'm not there. So and I think, I might not have had a cell phone. Either way, the phone in DB, my roommate in this house, is ringing, and he's like, you got to answer it. It's our old boss Barrett, and he's like, I don't want to hear it, basically, like, because, Mike, you got to keep in mind, too, like, it wasn't my normal Sunday shift. Yeah. I'm running the oldie station. What's at this cluster of Baltimore was like the big dog.
I would say that's like the number one station in the cluster.
It was.
So I can't remember who the guy, I think his name was Jerry. He always works Sunday mornings. I finally show up at like 8:30, and I'm like, thanks so much for covering. And he's like, he's not happy. He's like, man, I got to get home to my kids. Don't let it happen again. I remember the door's about to close, and he opens it. He goes, was it a chick? I go, yeah. Was it worth it? Yeah. And he goes, all right, but don't let it happen again.
Yes, it was. Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-80.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance, too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You hear that, America? The mountain is calling. Calling you on this cloudy Tuesday morning with a very important message.
Get off your ass.
So grab an ice cold Mountain Dew, some friends, and do something you'll enjoy even more than the lifestyle content you're keeping up with. The mountain is calling. Answer. Do the do.
I'm Anna Garcia with True Crime News, the podcast. Every crime tells a story. Every story demands justice. True Crime News, the podcast, covers breaking crimes, investigating high-profile and under-the-radar cases. Every week, we dive beyond the headlines, exploring the effects of violent crimes on victims and search for justice. We hope you join us as your weekly source for true crime news. Listen to and follow True Crime News, the podcast, on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
3 Rock.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
As you know, deep frying a turkey, apparently delicious. If you've ever done it, I've never heard anybody say that they'll go back any other way. Yeah. Also, if you've never done it, it could be pretty dangerous as far as a way to cook, and it can lead to disaster if you're not careful. They say there are plenty of cautionary tales that highlight that reality, including one involving a mansion in Connecticut that burned down over the Thanksgiving holiday. Mm-hmm. As they say, turkey is the traditional centerpiece of Thanksgiving meals. And if you want that juicy, crispy skin, deep frying, probably the best way to go. However, you need to know what you're doing if you decide to do this, as going that route can be a recipe for disaster, as moisture can cause the oil to bubble over, catch on fire, and every single guide will tell you the turkey should be fried outdoors.
Yes.
Kept away from materials with potential to spark a sizable blaze. Well, they had a pretty decent light, steady rain over Thanksgiving in Connecticut. And most people who would do that would have some type of tent set up outside or maybe a tarp. Or,
even then.
To be kind of put away from the house.
There is a lot of people I see do that. Set up like the canopy and everything.
Yeah. Well, not this family. They decided to bring that pot into the garage. And thanks to that, They burned down a $3.8 million mansion in the town of Weston. A decision they made by bringing that deep fryer into the garage, which ultimately led to firefighters spending 16 hours trying to battle this blaze that destroyed the home after it was consumed by the fire that broke out when they were trying to cook this turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All of the people who are staying in the 11-bedroom, 9.5-bath residence when the fire started were able to escape on Thanksgiving. But the nearly 10,000 square foot house was deemed uninhabitable as it basically burned completely to the ground. All of it.
Yeah, after 16 hours.
So that was.
I was actually a little disappointed this past Thanksgiving. I just said to my wife, I don't even bother to check the weather come November. But this is, I want to say, the first time in 20 years that I've been there that there's no sprinkle, there's nothing in the air. This would have been the Thanksgiving to deep fried turkey.
Yes.
But at that point it's too late, so I'm thinking it's Thanksgiving morning. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's all I wanted to do, and it's perfectly dry outside. This would have been the time.
I mean, you seriously have to know what you're doing. Like, there's a guy I follow on Instagram, right? And he lives somewhere in the South, and he's always cooking, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, look, I've been doing this for years. But even that guy, because he just has it like one of those single-off burners with the pot on top.
Yep.
Even that guy, who has spent the first, I'd say, 90 seconds of a 3-minute video showing you how to make sure it's completely dry and this and that. Even he's like, just for extra safety, I turn the flame off, drop it in, light the flame back up.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and he's like, look, it'll get back up to temp quick enough.
I can't even remember who I was talking to. It may have been VD. We hung out a day over the weekend, but I don't remember his number now, but he said fairly recently-ish, someone in his family, they went to do a deep-fried turkey, and so just off the bat, it was still frozen. Oh! Like, they hadn't even heard hey, make sure it's dry. He's like, dude, they took out a block of ice, dropped it in this thing, and, disaster followed.
Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Willie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, boys.
Hola.
How's it going today?
We're doing good, Willie. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
So, this would have been 89 something, early 90, high school, senior year, first week of summer break out of high school. And me and a buddy of mine had been up all night at a apartment complex party. All the neighbors, all the people, all the friends were there. And we both decided to work. We worked at a wood treater plant, where we're cutting wood, powerful saws, all day. Well, we were going to work on a Saturday. We were going to work the weekend. Well, all we had to do was go in with a nail gun and make pallets for, 6 hours, half a day, making pallets. Easy money. I went to sleep at about 2 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up because we had to get up, had my alarm set, 7 a.m. We're off to work. We're going to walk. He dropped a hit of acid.
Uh-oh.
At about sometime after I went to sleep, he thought that would be a good idea. And he went to work like that. Now, it'd been a few hours, but long story short, pow, 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 doing the nails, and I hear, O-S! And he ran a nail, one of those 10-penny nails with the threads in it.
Yeah.
He ran it through his finger. Ran it through the meat underneath your finger nail, and that little, all the way through it. It's a long story. The boss comes over and, what the heck did you do? And that kind of yells at him, gives him a rough time, puts a Band-Aid on it and says, well, go back to work. You ain't going to hurt till tomorrow. It's not going to hurt until morning, by the time. So we both went back to work and finished the day.
How was your buddy's finger?
Choices. Oh, he stuck cleaned it up, put some hydro on it and a Band-Aid, and it went all the way through from one side to the other.
Did it ruin his trip? Like, did he come down after that, or was he still tripping and in pain?
Oh, I think he was pretty well down by then.
Oh.
But yeah, that certainly ended it. That was the end of it.
Okay.
Bad choices.
Yeah. Hey. There's a lot of jobs you do where you might be a little compromised, let's say, but if I'm doing anything with dangerous equipment, just no.
Yeah, when I was a bartender, right, the first bar I worked at, I was literally 19.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know a ton about the world yet. And the one guy that worked with us, he was a DJ. Like, And back then, like, I don't know, you meet a lot more DJs nowadays.
Sure.
Right, but he had all the equipment and stuff. But I remember sometimes, right, because we were in a college town, so, like, that Thursday night shift was a big deal. And I forget his name, but he was a super cool dude. And he shows up, and, like, you know, we would have shift beers, maybe before the end of the shift, but towards the end. I remember we showed up, and he's just like, we knew where the cameras were, and he's like, hey, just stand there for a minute. And he just puts down a shot, lights up a cig, you can still smoke inside. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We're starting already. And he's just like, God, I was working gigs all night, doing coke, just trying to maintain.
Oh,
and he was fine. He kicked ass that shit. Right? But you know, there's some jobs, and this was a crappy college bar.
Yeah.
You could get away with that. But yeah, a lot of jobs you can't get away with.
And I would think as a DJ in that kind of situation, by the time you're starting to play all the beats and everything, you're probably tripping a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the deep fried turkeys, that house in Connecticut burning down. Somebody says, I deep fried the first time this year. Seriously. It's not hard, especially if you cook professionally. Okay, maybe. It just reminds me of a guy, dude we used to work with the first day we were there. We had him cleaning out the walk-in, and he pulls me aside because he's bitching about, I cannot believe the disgusting place that you guys run here. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's a whole block of cheese covered in mold. I said, did you throw it away? He goes, yeah. I said, pull it out of the trash. It's Gorgonzola cheese. It's blue cheese. It's supposed to look like it. Didn't know. No big deal. I worked with him for about a year after that, and the last day I worked with him, the decision he made, quote-unquote, cooking professionally. So we know, don't put a wet-ass turkey in a hot deep fryer. So at the end of our night, we're cleaning up, and he wanted to see what happened if he dumped ice into the deep fryer. Now, keep in mind, for fun, you might take an ice cube, and I run my back 20 feet away, put it in, and you can't believe how much explosion you can get out of one ice cube. But this guy takes a bucket of ice, dumps it in, he gets third-degree burns, we don't work together anymore. He's the guy that I hope never deep fries a turkey. And everyone in the kitchen said, dude, don't do it, and this is why. Not because we're going to get in trouble, you're going to hurt yourself. No, I want to see what happens. And what did they F around and find out? He found out. Like, you are a dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, my buddy Bernie, he does like 2 or 3 of them a year. He just follows the rules and the directions. Deep fried turkeys are delicious.
Right.
You know what you're doing, but unfortunately, I think there's way too many people who don't understand how grease fires are, how oil actually works, and they're just like, sounds good. Let's try it, Mike.
As you know, Pacific Place downtown, this is their busy time of the year.
Oh, for sure.
Without question. As far as people out shopping, you know the drill. And also, they have the AMC Theater up on top. So with the movie Wicked out, the place was fairly busy.
Yeah, I mean,
so to speak.
Thanksgiving weekend, yeah.
I was super excited to see Wicked, according to Seattle moviegoer Hannah Proctor. She joined millions in the post-Thanksgiving rush to see Wicked, but her Saturday theater experience, the AMC, that was cut short. About an hour into the movie, they were like, some alarms are going off in the theater, and a few minutes into the alarms, we could tell what they were saying. Active shooter, please follow the procedures.
What are the procedures? Do they give you procedures after that?
Well, everyone got out of their seats and started running to the exit, so I'm guessing that's part of the procedure.
You'll figure it out.
It's definitely like a mass panic situation, she said, trying to get out of the building. The alarm broadcasted warnings of an active shooter over and over. She said it prompted her and her friends to run out of the theater and then across the street. But then she said she was confused by the lack of police presence that followed. They later learned the alarm inside the shopping center and theater was an accidental alarm.
Oh, my God.
One security guard inside Pacific Place told Cairo 7, that happens sometimes. Management confirmed the incident while reiterating...
Sometimes. That is the actual...
Was this on Friday?
This was on Saturday.
Saturday.
Nah. It was never an active shooter. Management said a technical issue resulted in a false alarm. That has been corrected. The center continues to operate normally. Safety of our guests, retailers, always of our top priority, blah, 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 blah. Proctor, Hannah said she is comforted in part that there are alarms in place, something that she did not realize the shopping center had. However, it does not say that she was able to go back in and watch the rest of the movie.
So the way that worked was AMC, I can't say what the other stores did there, but I saw this last night. So I guess AMC Theater said to all the theater goers, hey, listen, we paused the movie. If you want to finish it, just come back in, or you can get a refund for your tickets. She declined both. She's like, I was a little frazzled. And then she added that she's from Colorado originally and lived there at the Batman premiere shooting. So she's like, it it's kind of weird to be followed around with this kind of thing. So she's like, I'll go home. I'll stream it later.
Yes. And speaking of a drill going wrong, we head to Tennessee, where an active intruder training drill went awry at the Clarksville Middle School after an administrator used the wrong words in announcing the drill. Families told News Channel 5 that the administrator said, "This is not a drill."
That's the key.
There is an active shooter in the cafeteria. As a result, one class and teacher evacuated to a nearby neighborhood. Clarksville Montgomery County Schools said the school resource officer, additional police, school administrators all helped those kids get back inside the school. This morning, we had a pre-planned intruder drill that we do quarterly. During the drill, an administrator used the incorrect script to activate said drill. This certainly caused concern for everyone. We deeply apologize for this mistake and the concerns it caused. This should have been a routine drill, but the script was for an actual emergency.
Right.
In other words, this is not a drill.
Which you have beaten into the kids' heads.
We appreciate the quick actions of students, employees, family, law enforcement. We ensure this never happens again during a drill. Thank you for your understanding and support.
I mean, it's good news that it ended up being a drill. But you would think the script doesn't vary much. Either this is not a drill or this is a drill. The fire alarm in this corporate office tower in downtown Seattle, right? One thing they do, they'll send us emails to let us know when they're going to do fire drills, which is good because people like me make it a point to go smoke because it just takes longer than I'd like it to. But I get it. I understand why they have to do it. But in the years we've been here, we had one actual fire alarm. And the difference was they specifically said, this is not a drill.
Correct.
And everyone understood.
Also,
and
suddenly that window of drill typically is between 10 and, say, noon. We were on the air at this point in time, so it must have been between. It was later on. It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that is not when they do drills here. So, and we're on the air.
And they kept saying,
like
this is not a drill.
And Robin's looking over like, guys. And Ted's like, I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm getting the hell out of this building. Like right now, we're like, well, what do we do? We don't smell smoke. We just came back from a break. We just started talking.
And we had one buddy that he kind of searched around to see if he could quietly let us know what's going on. And at one point, he just kind of walked up to our studio window and shrugged. You know when you make your hands big? Going like, look, I don't know what to tell you because they keep saying it's not a drill. Right. There's no heat. We don't smell smoke.
Yeah.
But they're insisting. And that alarm went off for like 15 minutes.
Everybody was gone.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody else hanging out on the floor.
If you're listening to the show, you could hear it. You could hear the announcements come through the thing. Like, residents of, wherever the hell we are, 805th, crank. Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
Have you ever set off the fire alarm at a school you went to?
Not a school, but I set off the fire alarm at a place where I worked. I did not set it off. My buddy did. The guy I was working with.
Oh, God. Was that the sprinkler thing?
Yeah, which set off the entire fire alarm in the building, evacuated a grocery store bed down below us.
And this is a major grocery store.
There was a theater upstairs that wasn't open because it's 8 o'clock in the morning. But there was a movie theater upstairs. There was a huge-ass grocery store downstairs. Mm-hmm. And the entire building was evacuated because we got these little promotional footballs from, I want to say it was either a new arena team they were thinking about putting in, or I can't remember what the hell the deal was. Either way, it was like from a bank. It was from First Mariner Bank. They were just giving away Nerf footballs, little tiny ones. Max chucks this ball, man, and then all of a sudden you hear boom, boom, and it is pouring rain in the studio, all over a brand new studio, all over what was supposed to be like a $200,000 build out.
Yeah,
for these 4 or 5 individual studios,
and that water's disgusting too.
And it's going all through. And you have to remember something too. We're in t-shirts. We're working in a rock station. We have Converse Chucks on. We are not living
You're not
large.
fire ready.
We're not money. All right. But the Reverend Lee Michaels, who was doing his gospel show,
$8,000 suit.
His suit was worth more money than I made in a year.
Right.
His shoes, and he is soaked. Like, he's the kind of guy that looks like he wears makeup, but he's just so pretty. It's just he's not. It's just like everything is perfect. Like his eyebrows are perfect, his hairline's perfect. I mean, like Jerome Bettis,
super tight.
Everything is perfect on this man. I mean, his car was absolutely just immaculate. And he looked like and he also had a bit of a Jerry curl. So when his head got wet it kind of parted down the middle.
Oh, no.
Do you know the look I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
No. And got flat.
Like alfalfa?
Correct.
Yeah.
And got flat. And I mean, he is soaked. He's got basically like a, what you don't even want to know how much money the suit, what he had on. And every single person on that floor and downstairs had to be evacuated until they could turn off the main switch, which was in the back storage area of the grocery store downtown. So it took 10 minutes for someone to even shut off the main in this old building before it actually. And then when it did stop, it kept raining for another 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The water's still in the pipes. I mean, we're just sitting there like, this is insane. That was a fun week of not going to work.
But did you get in trouble?
Oh, yeah, I didn't get paid. Didn't go to work.
Even though you didn't do it?
I did not do it. Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
Eat, save, and be merry with low prices and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh. Whether you're looking for sweet deals on holiday treats or your dream gingerbread house, outshine the tree with holiday deals delivered right to your doorstep. Prime members save even more with deals on thousands of grocery items and up to 50% off on weekly favorites. Celebrate the holiday season with savings and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Do you know the number one thing that surprises engaged couples? Take a guess. The sheer amount of decisions they have to make while planning a wedding. Indoors or outdoors? How many guests? Are kids invited? Controversial. Which cake flavor? Seriously, how do you even begin to figure out what's right for you? That's where Zola comes in. Zola has everything you need to make every wedding decision a piece of cake, from choosing your dream wedding venue and vendors to deciding how to best spend your budget. With tons of customizable wedding websites, save the dates and invites, every detail will feel like you. Zola will even help you choose the gifts, experiences, and cash funds you really want. The next thing you know, you've planned your whole wedding all in one place. From getting engaged to getting married, Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place. Start planning at Zola.com. That's ZOLA.com.
Hey, what's the easiest way to find out what channel the game's on? Sports on What? Subscribe to the Sports on What app and quickly find the channel for every provider. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Download today.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Well, when it comes to making problems at work, so to speak.
All right.
A Harris poll asked 1,000 Americans to name the top workplace taboos, things you should never do at work that could get you in trouble. The top 5, 50% of the people said just gossiping about a colleague, whether it's work-related, personal, or etc.
I mean, I think it depends on the severity of the gossip. It is difficult not to gossip about coworkers because you see them every day. Did you hear what happened to Gary? Did you hear about his wife, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're not doing it to be spiteful. You just kind of sharing the information.
Well, also, typically at work, everyone is working to do their part as a team.
Right.
So when you lose a clog in the wheel, no matter what the situation is, or someone is not there, you kind of wonder why, and someone needs to pick up that slack.
Or even if they are there, but they, because look, you could have everyone on the team is doing their part, and after a week you go, Gary seemed off to you, and it's like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Inevitably, somebody knows something. Right. So it's not even like you're trying to be nosy.
It's a level of concern.
And sometimes we used to have a guy, he was my manager, Chi-Chi's, his name was Dwayne, and 99% of the time, Dwayne was in a bad mood, right? Just when he showed up at work, he was grumpy. That's just who he was. Well, named personal. But there's a day he came in. It was a Friday. I remember that. It was nice outside. I remember that. And he came in whistling. Great mood, like greeted everyone the whole nine. And I saw him in the office. I'm like, did you get laid this morning? He said, that's a personal question. I said, you're in a good mood. He goes, I did. I said, right. And I went around and told people. Yeah. The reason, because everyone kept saying, why does Dwayne seem unusually happy? And I kept saying to them, look, the only thing I can think of is he had morning sex. He was married, got laid by his wife, came into work, was in a good mood, and then I just asked him directly. He said, yeah. And I said, hey, everybody, there it is. Let Dwayne get laid more, and he's much easier to work with.
Top 5 workplace taboos coming in at number 4, dating a manager or anyone above you at 52%.
Have you ever dated a manager or anyone above you?
I personally have not. That is not,
I've gossiped about a coworker. So far, I'm 1 for 5, but I've never dated.
I mean, in Seattle, we've never had that. I mean, obviously, if you're doing it right, no one's going to find out.
No one knows, right.
But I've never had a situation in 20 years, at least in our work environment, where that has ever been a situation that was going on.
Where in Baltimore, the station where we're at least as far as the sales staff went, everybody was having sex with everybody.
Yeah.
It's definitely happened here.
I'm sure it's happened here.
I'm sure
it doesn't seem as obvious here, or maybe I pay less attention, or I don't know what it was in Baltimore.
Well, eventually they kind of, depending on the levels, right? Like Mike and I can date, that's fine. But if I was going to date Castle, eventually Castle has to tell us.
You mean like legally?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Disclose that.
Yeah. Or
because he's a man.
Disclose it within the company.
Okay, within the company. All right,
okay,
I got
gotcha.
you. That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Number 3 on the list, as far as workplace taboos, drinking any amount of alcohol.
Oh, sure.
65% of people say, even if you're just going to have a glass of champagne to celebrate a promotion or whatever's going on.
They would even frown on that.
Well, I mean,
who is they?
I mean, look, it's whatever percent. You know what I mean? Like, look, we have a kegerator in our kitchen. And almost everyone here, for the few people that come in, you'll see them grab a pint. They're not getting drunk. They just grab a pint, they go back to their desk, and they get through work.
Our big boss, Dave, though, like if he comes down with a bottle of champagne, pops and says, hey, good job, guys, on a great another year. Let's just pour them out. Is he
he also knows we're not
raising
going
an
to
eyebrow?
Yeah, but we're not going to get drunk off one glass of champagne.
Well, the thing is,
I think he knows
what I'm saying there. It's like, if he does that, is he really like raising an eyebrow at everybody? And you're like, all right, who takes me up on the champagne?
Look, different professions have different things. But
sure.
I don't know. I feel like I know a decent amount of 9-to-5 people who, depending on, say, like a soccer sporting event, will go to a bar for their lunch break.
Sure.
Watch part of the game and have 2 pints and not really give it a second thought.
That is the amazing thing about our watering hole. If we're off during the week and I go, 2 in the afternoon, whatever, it's regulars that I recognize. But
you classy man, you.
But what I did not realize, you chat with them for like an hour, then they're like, oh, crap, man, I got to get back to work. And not like pull up their computer. I mean, physically get up. And I'm like, I just watched them drink 2 shots, like 3 beers. I don't know what they do, and I don't ask. It doesn't matter. But they hop in the car, and they go to work.
Yeah.
I feel like I've witnessed that, too.
I mean, but like at the bar.
Yeah.
I almost feel more comfortable trying to sneak a drink at work, than leaving and going to the bar.
God, go to a steakhouse during the day. If you don't run into a lawyer, I've completely misjudged.
You know, man, lawyers and any manager that has to wear a suit, for whatever reason, it is A-OK for them. You're right. Go out to a steakhouse and, I'm meeting a client. I understand that, but you and the client are going to drink your freaking faces off, and we can tell when you get back. They're always a little redder. They're in a good mood, depending how the situation went down, or we're going to play golf today. Like, you're going to go get drunk today on the golf course.
Another workplace taboo, number 2, using drugs during work.
During work, I like that.
65%. Man.
I mean, I've done it, but look, overwhelmingly, I might still be floating on drugs I've done, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you had the night you had, and you come into work, and you're still floating a little bit from whatever you got into, but it's like, look, yes, boss, I'm high. I mean, no, I did not get high at work.
Sometimes you eat a delicious treat before the show, and then you're still flying on that treat on the next day.
Well, that was Weed Week, and that's a different thing, where they allowed this to happen, and I didn't realize that I ate 4 doses.
I mean, I don't know. They got it all right. There was never really a cut and dry answer on that one. It was always just like,
The cut and dry answer came a little bit later.
It came later, yes.
And I think that's why.
You know what saved our ass on that one? Seriously.
Weed Week.
People just loved hearing that.
Yeah, seriously. Our boss at the time, who was kind of on the fence about Weed Week, so we're about 3 days into it, the first time we ever did it, and he goes, I go home. And my kid, who at the time was like 2 years old, is like, Weed Week. And then my wife yells, Weed Week. So he said, they didn't even talk about the show. Nothing you guys did, nothing you laughed about. He's just that stupid Weed Week. And
sometimes, depending on the drugs, you don't know if someone's on them. So
those are the drugs I would do at work.
Right. I met up with a buddy who I haven't seen in 20 years, or longer than that, 30 years. Right. We started working in our early 20s together at a radio station. He ended up working for, believe it or not, I don't know how he pulled this off, G. Gordon Liddy, because this guy was the biggest hippie in the world. So he ended up doing like conservative talk radio and producing this guy's show in D.C. for a number of years. Then he moved out to the West Coast, blah, 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 blah. He's up here for some crap because he's like a consultant in radio now, whatever. We go out to dinner. And he said, yeah, man. He said, those were some tough years for me. And I was like, well, they were tough for everybody, man. We weren't making any money, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, but I was a heroin addict. And I was like, you were a heroin addict? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, from the time that I was 19 to like 27, he's like, if you saw me, I was on heroin. And I was like,
geez, really?
He was on the air. We kind of shared part-time shifts and everything else. And, he wasn't one of those guys who would call out.
Right.
Like, you need to cover for me? Or it wasn't anything where you go, oh, there's a fly. Why isn't he in again today? Mm-hmm. He worked harder than anybody else. And
he just happened to be on heroin.
And I was like, okay, well, what's the percentage of times when I saw you at work? He's like, I was never at work and not on heroin. And I was like, even all those times you were on the air, all the remotes we did, all those things that we did, you were on heroin. He's like, I was completely functional. Wow. As far as a heroin addict.
Right. I mean, at that point, he's just doing it so he doesn't start detoxing and getting sick.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're just maintaining where it's not fun anymore.
But correct. And he never messed up or anything like that.
Sure.
I just did not realize that I was working. It was shocked 30 years later to find that out, because that would be the last thing I would ever think. We were all kind of hippie-ish at that stage of the game. It's the early 90s. Right. You know what I mean? We're all wearing flannel shirts, listening to Soundgarden, and also listening to Fish.
Right.
So you just didn't, it just wasn't that kind of a scene where, I thought, okay, someone's sticking a needle in their arm every day. Now, granted, I did remember he never wore T-shirts.
You could also...
cover his arms, right?
Yeah, you could also smoke it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's other ways.
Between the toes?
Yeah.
Actually, we had a dishwasher like that. This guy, Jim, and we knew he was recovering. We didn't know that he was back on the junk. And look, if you work at a restaurant for a while and you have a dishwasher that works there as long as you, it is the single greatest asset you can have. More than anyone else in that restaurant, because when they don't show up, everything collapses, right? So this guy, Jim, nice guy, always showed up on time, always did his job. The reason he ended up getting busted is one time he did not lock the bathroom door. Someone opened the door and he was shooting between his toes. So we never saw the marks on his arm. And that was the thing, man. So he's shooting at his toes. Well, the boss got wind of it and had to let him go. Not because Jim even messed up. They're like, look, man, you can't just do illegal drugs in the bathroom. But thank you. You've done a great job.
Again, I told you, I was hanging out with this girl for a little bit and she had been divorced. And I was like, just like, well, after what happened? She was like, well, he was on meth. I said, oh. She was like, no. It took a long time to realize. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, he would work all day and then come home and work on stuff in the garage all night. She was like, after a few months, you finally realized, when is he sleeping? And then she's like, then after months of this, then the mood swings and this and that. Then it's more of what you think of somebody tweaking out. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, just also if you've never had any idea, right? I've been to plenty of festivals, right?
Sure.
I could sit there at a concert and tell what people have indulged in, as maybe I have. But if those street drugs, most of us don't know, so you don't know. You're just like, this person's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
or they don't sleep.
Yep. Well, we had an old producer who, I don't believe he was doing it at the time he was working with us. But when you asked about his background, but this guy had been at the radio station before I got hired. And now this is 5 years in. And he's like, well, man, before this I was making meth. I
thought he was on crack.
Was it crack?
Yeah.
But he made his own. And he's like,
he made his own
for
meth.
years.
Yeah. Was it meth? All right.
Yes.
What? And the thing is, this is the guy with the breath we've told you about, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
And
that adds up.
After he said it, a few things added up. And so you met his wife, who was an absolute smoke show. And we just could not wrap our heads around this little greasy-looking dude who makes methamphetamine. And she was not proper, but very nice, very forward, understood what was going on. And I'm like, good for you, I guess. Damn.
And the number one thing that is the workplace taboo, as far as 1,000 Americans ask, getting drunk during work hours. 74% say that's never acceptable. Obviously, drinking any amount came in at number 3. But getting drunk during work, they say that is never acceptable behavior.
All right, so out of the 5, how many have you done? I'm guilty of 80% of that list.
Getting drunk during work hours. Yes.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, yeah.
Using drugs during work? Yes. Drinking any amount of alcohol? Obviously,
Yes.
if I said 1, yes, then 3 is yes. Dating a manager or anyone above you? No.
No.
Gossiping about a colleague? Of course.
Yeah.
So I am 4 out of the 5 on the biggest taboos that you could do at work.
Where are you at, Ted?
Are we counting Weed Week?
Yes. That's doing drugs at work.
All right, then 4 out of 5. I never dated anybody above me.
Yeah.
I've definitely hung out with people at work, but not above me.
Right. Mike, where are you at on this?
Hang on, go over one more time for me.
Gossiping about a colleague.
Yeah.
Dating a manager or anyone above you.
Tried, but no.
What do you mean?
I like that you tried.
Well, you know, when I'm younger, when I'm 16, 17 years old, you know.
Oh, she's 19 or whatever.
Exactly. There's 19, 20-year-olds that are technically my managers. It's like, I'm shooting my
let
shot.
me go back then.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
like in my
the one
professional
chick
career, I've never gotten there. But you know, colleagues and when you're doing those teenager jobs, like shoot, they're all teenagers.
Business associates, yes. Like people who are involved with the people that we were doing business with. I have been with a manager on their level, but not.
But that's not your manager.
But that's not my manager.
Right.
I mean, it could have cost a lot of money if things would have went bad because they're spending a lot of money on advertising. But
then the other one was drinking at work. Might have done that a time or two. Drugs, okay. You know what? Weed Week, I did do it a couple times, didn't I?
You're guilty of 4 out of 5 too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're counting Weed Week. That's
And then what's the fifth one?
Just getting drunk.
Oh, okay.
During workout.
I would say that's not it. Well, I mean, my God, you did the boot of beer when we were up at Black Raven.
The yard of beer.
Yard of beer.
Normally that would have counted, but we were on the air.
Right.
So in
But it's
advance,
at
yes,
work.
we're going to get drunk. But I mean, then you put a live
Yeah, but Mike
broadcast on top
got
of
real
it.
drunk.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I like the guy, but I'm sorry, that counts.
Yes, it does.
I agree.
I want to let him off the hook.
No, I did, dude. Like I had my head was in a doggone toilet at the end of the night. Like I drank way too damn much.
You did drink a lot, but man, good. I'm still proud of you. I thought it was a
I'm
great
not,
moment.
dude.
I
I'm
know.
still
I know. We have different views on this.
Right, but also in your defense, we encouraged it. And then I still feel bad with that one employee there. It's like I saw that boot and I'm like, I should have known better.
It's
Because
like
at
the
a
nice
certain
guy,
point,
too,
I could see Mike's on a trajectory. So
Oh,
I'm
we
like,
do.
I'm going to really slow it down just in case. And I was like, part of me wanted to grab it, just be like, no.
You should have.
But then but then he grabbed it. I was like, see how he plays it. And Mike out of nowhere starts chugging it.
Oh, just chug the whole thing.
Well, because I thought the same thing when I grabbed that doggone thing. I was like, dude, I know I'm pretty effed up, but doggone it, this would look really cool if I just hammered this thing.
But sometimes I think it's better just to swing for the fences at that point. 'Cause if you're already fading, then you're going to slow down, and it just sounds sloppy as opposed to people know that, no, he's hammered.
Yeah.
Right. He straight up took this thing down, so somehow we don't have to listen to you get worse. There's just a point where you cease to exist kind of on the air.
Yeah, and I remember Council talking about it. He made a beeline for me after that. I was like, no, that's coming back up. Come on, follow me. We're going to the bathroom. He just let me all the way back there.
On the note of those taboos, all right, this is a text from one of our listeners, and I like this. It says, a bad decision of the year was me on a Zoom call at work. They just make me nervous. They really do, because I never know if the mic's muted or not, and there's always something I want to say about someone who's talking, whatever. That's just me. But this guy says I work from home. I was on an SE Zoom meeting. I'm falling asleep after a long night when I decided I should do a few lines of blow to spice things up. I thought my camera was off. It was not. I proceeded to toot a couple of rails right there on camera. Fortunately, they couldn't quite be certain what I was doing, and I managed to convince the boss that I was doing a nasal cleanse with lavender. I still work there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good work.
I think you did not fool your boss.
Bought that?
No, what I think it is, the boss said he thought his camera was off. This guy still does good work. I'm just not going to say anything.
Is that even a thing?
What's that? A nasal cleanse with lavender? I mean, you can do a nasal cleanse with like a neti pot, but you're lifting your head back. Yeah, you don't lean forward and people see the top of your head and hear you snorting.
I think, honest to God, as far as drugs go, one of the dumbest unintentional moves I've ever made and never thought about it was getting ready to go to Victoria, Canada. We're going to get on the Clipper, and the wife and I at the time, we're going to go up and have a wonderful weekend up there in lovely Victoria, British Columbia. Mm-hmm. Like anything else, between the 5 pairs of boots that she had, she couldn't decide on which ones that she wanted to bring for those 2 days. And her luggage was large. And she could not fit her toiletries into her bag, which included all her shampoo bottles, her conditioner, her leave-in. I mean, it was... You check into a hotel room, and it looks like you just stepped into your own home.
Right.
With all of the stuff that women can bring as far as, beautifying themselves. So I took her Dob kit. I took her her toothbrush bag and a couple other things, and I put them in my bag. Now, one thing, if you travel, and I never thought about this, you don't take anyone else's luggage. Don't put anybody else's stuff in your luggage.
Except your children's, and even then, only if your children are 13 and younger.
She loved pills, okay? So, you name it, she was a walking pharmacy. She worked for a pharmaceutical company, a couple of them. So, the myriad of pills that these people know how to take. Get on a plane, you take a Xanax.
Right.
If you need this, you got an Ambien. If you need this, you take an Adderall. If you don't have an Adderall, you take a Ritalin. Blah, 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 blah. Guy at Customs and Canada says, "Sir, did you pack everything in this bag?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I did." First bag he opens up is her toiletries. And I'm like, "Oh, no. That's my wife's." He's like, "There's no way to prove that. You just said that everything in the bag is yours." I said, "Yes, but there's a couple things in here that she couldn't fit in her bag." He starts going through that bag and naming all of the medication that is in that bag, and we're separated in different rooms.
Right.
But I don't have my name on that pill bottle. And none of this stuff is mine.
So you don't have any idea what
I'm
any of
bringing
these pills
Percocet. I'm bringing Oxys.
Did you even know half of what was in
I
it?
did not know any because she put them all in one pill bottle because she knew what the hell they were.
That makes it even worse.
She had a magical pill bottle of
Yeah, I'll do that when I travel sometimes, though.
But you're taking
But my name's on it.
But your name is on the
So
screen.
I could sit there and tell you what each one is.
Yeah, so I swear to God, I thought I was going to get thrown in jail for the weekend until this got straightened out. Never take someone else's crap and put it in your bag.
How long did it take for you to sort that out?
We were there for 4 hours. The cruise
At Customs?
The cruise on the Clipper took 3.
Damn.
3. We wasted an entire day.
Just for you explaining your way out
That is
of
correct.
taking your wife's pills.
Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-8...
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I'm Anna Garcia with True Crime News, the podcast. Every crime tells a story. Every story demands justice. True Crime News, the podcast, covers breaking crimes, investigating high-profile and under-the-radar cases. Every week, we dive beyond the headlines, exploring the effects of violent crimes on victims and search for justice. We hope you join us as your weekly source for true crime news. Listen to and follow True Crime News, the podcast, on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're still struggling with breakouts, then you haven't tried Proactive, America's #1 clear skin routine. Proactive kills acne-causing bacteria at the source. For clearer skin and less breakouts, subscribe today and get a free gift only at Proactive.com.
You hear that, America? The mountain is calling. Calling you on this cloudy Tuesday morning with a very important message.
Get off your ass.
So grab an ice cold Mountain Dew, some friends, and do something you'll enjoy even more than the pop culture convos you're consuming. The mountain is calling. Answer. Do the do.
3 Rock.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
I'm going to send Spin count out the top 10 songs of the century so far. Almost 25 years in. So we'll deal with a quarter of a century. The 10 best songs so far.
According to, was it Uprocks?
Uprocks.com, 4:30, right after emails on our question, who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so back 2010, I was living in a house with a bunch of guys, and we're all 19 or 20, and somehow this rule developed that if someone woke you up with drugs, you had to take them. And so one morning, the boys shake me awake, and they're holding a bag of pills in front of my face, and they're little yellow pills. I don't really know what they are. They told me it was ecstasy, and I was working at a restaurant at the time and had to work at 4 or 5 o'clock that night, and it was 9, 10 in the morning, so I thought, this will be fine. And we took them, and it turns out it was not ecstasy. It was pretty much just straight methamphetamine. And so I spent most of the day tweaking out until it was time to go to work, set off down to the restaurant, and thought I could play it cool. And pretty much everybody knew I was on something. I was sweating, my eyes looked all funny, and it was just overall not a great day at work.
What does the meth high feel like? Like, what are you experiencing?
Like a lot of energy, really nervous. You know, I was not having a great time. Couldn't really think straight. Probably sent a bunch of dirty dishes out. But, I thought I played it off cool until I went in the next day. My boss pulled me aside and was like, hey, I know you were on drugs at work yesterday. We can't be having that.
And what did you work at the restaurant?
I was a dishwasher.
Oh, my God. If they can tell the dishwasher, look, I just assume that the dishwasher's high. That was my experience anyway. The kitchen staff, weed, dishwasher, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, and then the wait staff, cocaine. But it was pretty much a guarantee that that's what everyone was floating on. So if you looked so bad that he could, quote unquote, tell, that had to be a real bad day.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day. Didn't really do that wake up with drugs thing again after that one.
What other drugs did you experience waking up to?
LSD. A bump here and there.
I mean, you got to remember, like, ecstasy or whatever, like, it's MDMA.
Yeah.
So that it's always going to have some amount of methamphetamine. That's what the MA part is. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it sounds like your friends just bought really bad pills, and there was none of the MD part.
Yeah.
Right.
They were just really bad pills.
Wow. And who came up with this general idea of, hey, if I wake you up to drugs, take them?
I don't even know. One of the roommates, there's like 5 or 6 of us living there, and everybody kind of liked to party at that time, and it just naturally evolved.
Okay, so you got one of the 5. You've done drugs at work.
Yeah.
Have you ever shown up to work or had a couple drinks, not been drunk, but had alcohol on the job?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever shown up drunk to work?
Not that I can think of. Definitely like maybe a little bit in the system after a long night out, but never like rip-roaring drunk showing up on the job.
Have you ever had sex with a superior?
No.
Okay.
Not for lack of trying, but no.
And I'm assuming you've gossiped at work. So you're 4 or 5 on that list. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like having sex with the superior is the one that no one's quite achieved yet.
Well, not if you're a dude.
Yeah, not if you're a dude, for sure.
It's hard enough to just achieve sex in any circumstance.
You said outside, though, and I asked about just what's the dilemma. I've had sex with a manager. They just were not my manager.
But if they're above you in management, then that counts as part of what they're not supposed to do.
Then I'm 5 for 5. But yeah, it was not my immediate boss.
Well, sometimes, too, it's just statistically, there's just less women bosses.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't say it was a woman, Ted. I just said that.
My apologies.
Yeah, come on, man.
He got promoted.
Yeah, that's right.
Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
I used to be a line cook.
I'm the boss now. Hello, Billy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Well, just real quick, I did hook up with my boss when I was like 19, so I just want to throw that out there.
There you go.
I feel like it's only in your younger days.
It is only in the younger days.
At least for most of us.
What kind of job did you have?
I worked in a deli at Fred Meyer, man.
All right.
Deli at
So was it like the deli manager?
Yeah, I was a deli manager, yeah.
All right. It must have something to do with working with food. I swear to God, if you work with, give me a restaurant, now it's the deli manager at Fred Meyer. It's like, if you work with food, you're going to sleep with coworkers.
Was it during work or was it after hours?
It was after hours.
All right.
The cooler is not a really romantic place.
No, I was going to say.
But it works in a pinch.
Did that help you in any way whatsoever? Did you get like free boards? I mean, was there any...
No, it made my life way worse because that did not last long.
Yeah. That's the dice you roll on
now
that
you're
one.
moving on to produce.
It's true. Young and you find out, right?
All right. Okay. So what was your bad decision?
My bad decision, so this last summer, wife and I decided we've been trying to explore all of Washington. We're going to go up to the Peace Arch up in Blaine. So we got a place in Bellingham, and we go up there the night before we go to the casino. I hate going to the casino. I'm really unlucky, as in, like, I lose my wallet every single time I go to the casino. It's horrible. So give my wife my wallet, and I held my ID just so I could show my ID, put it in my pants pocket, and forgot about it. Next day, we go up to the border. We're hanging out at the Peace Arch, and we start chatting up a border agent. And I asked him, do you need an enhanced ID to go into Canada? And he said, you're a resident of Washington. You can just go across the border with your ID. They might just ask you some questions, but you're good to go. I said, okay, that's cool. So we just kind of hung out. We had a tea time, so we were going to kill some time before going golfing. And I forgot that I had put all my weed in a ammo box. I usually keep it in this ammo box, no ammo in it. But I had some 22 rounds that I dumped in there and didn't know it. So
which is almost worse than the drugs in Canada.
Oh, it's worse. It ends up being way worse because in Canada they don't really care about weed that much. So when I get to the border, they ask for my ID, and I go, "Oh, it's not in my wallet. Oh, it's in my pants from the day before." So I tell them, "I'm sorry, I don't have my ID. It's in the car," and they won't let me get it. They said, "Just pull over, and we're going to go through your stuff." Great. So we go inside. The cops go through all my stuff. And I didn't know the bullets were in there. So when he comes back, he calls me over, and he's like, "So where's the gun?" And I'm like, "Oh, what?" I was like, "I declared all my weed." And he goes, "Yeah, it's not weed that we're concerned about. Where's the gun? We know you have a gun. We found your bullets." And I start freaking out, and I'm like, I'm sweating bullets now. And I tell him, I don't have a gun. He's like, "We're going to tear your car apart, and we're going to find it." I said, "Tear it apart. You're not going to find it. It's at home. I don't have it."
Would that be a bad time to make a bet with someone like, "Hey, look, man, do what you got to do, but I got $50 says you don't find the gun"?
They, as nice as Canadians seem to be, they were not very nice, and they were not very happy with it.
That is what I've heard about the border guards.
Yeah. So, they said they're going to go through my stuff. They go out there, and the cop had taken my wife's ID. There was two cops. One female cop, she took my wife's ID. So when they're out there, he comes back in. I said, "Hey, did you find my ID?" He goes, "Yeah, it fell out of your pants." I said, "Sweet." Well, then the lady cop goes, "Nope, that wasn't his. That was his wife's. It fell out of my pocket." And even the guy was like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yep, it's this ID right here." So they detained us for 4 hours until they could confirm who I was. They took all my weed and threw it away and gave me back the empty jars and gave me back my empty box with the bullets too.
I guess you didn't play golf that day.
Oh, no. We missed our tea time by about 3 hours. So.
How much of your car did they rip apart looking for your gun?
They took, I drive a 2021 Ford Bronco, and they took everything out. I mean, I watched them dump my golf clubs out, everything, and they actually found more weed in my golf bag than I had with me.
Yes, they did.
A couple vape cartridges I didn't know were in there. So, I lost it all, but it was nice to know it was there. I declared 3.5 grams, and they found 12.
Oh, damn.
That dude, I'm telling you, as a golfer, that is the most important bag you can check before you fly. Because of what you do on a golf course. And then what that can end up being.
Yeah.
If they find any of that stuff in your bag, which is where I used to hide stuff just to keep it for my wife in my trunk. So,
I got a couple of backpacks and a couple of duffel bags where I'm not entirely sure because some of those have gone with me to Vegas. But if they go to me with Vegas without the wife, I cannot guarantee what may or may not still be in there, right? Mm-hmm. So we went out, and this was a concern that she had as well. She's like, "Look, man, I know what you're up to." So I can't remember where we were going, but we ended up going to, I don't know, the equivalent of like Walmart or Target or something to buy new suitcases just so we could travel clean because we were both that paranoid. Because she goes, "What's the last bag you took to Vegas?" I said, I don't know. I don't remember, man. But we're looking, there have to be 7 of these bags in this one closet. And I'm like, "Babe, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I would not trust any of these." Oh, it's when we flew to London. I mean, because now it's international, where I'm like, this is a lot different than it is in the States. So we need to get new luggage before we travel, because I don't even trust myself for what they might find. And if they do find it, one, I'm going to be mad because it means I forgot that it was there, but I'm not going to get it back, and I'm going to be arrested.
Yeah.
So, all back. And those are the ones
that's why I'm not going to smoke any weed the entire time I'm in Africa.
Yeah, man, don't.
Because I talked to my daughter, and she's like, "Well, I mean, yeah." And I'm like, nah. That's all I need to do is be like in an African jail because I was smoking
But that would be a story.
With a giraffe.
Right. How'd he hand it to you?
He bent over.
Shotgunned it?
I'm holding on to his neck, riding him, right? Got a bandana on. Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK, which I bought yesterday. A bandana for my neck.
Is it a special bandana? Because
Yes,
everything
it
else
is.
you bought,
Yes, it is.
What makes this bandana different than your average U.S. bandana?
It's a cooling.
It's Africa proof.
Correct.
Good God, man. Oh, crap. Caller just ended up hanging up.
I will say I had on a bandana this weekend as well, but I was at like a cowboy themed party.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not because of the dust in the.
Yours is not Africa proof.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, between that, my cowboy hat, and then I was shooting a cap gun, I looked like a real cowboy.
Okay.
Right.
What kind of party was this?
Just, it was somebody's birthday party. It was cowboy themed. They have a, garage, the shop. You go out there, and there was a cap gun. So every time I went out there to get a new beverage and use the can crusher, I'd pop off a couple rounds.
Oh, they got the can crusher. That's a good move, man.
That's right. I think around 1 a.m. it was like, you don't have to fire it every time. Yeah. So I'm a cowboy.
A Georgia cop who once won Deputy of the Year was arrested and charged with DUI last week after he tried to drunkenly direct traffic outside of an elementary school.
That's what makes it worse.
Despite school not being open and there being no cars in the area, according to police.
Was it like his normal shift and he just forgot?
Well, when Houston County Sheriff Deputy Garrison Page was asked what's going on, he said, "None of your business." "Why are you there?" "None of your business." "Do you need medical attention?" "None of your business," according to the incident report. Page was allegedly slurring his words and standing unsteadily while talking with officers about what he was doing. He even walked away at one point, the report says, to allegedly keep standing in the middle of the roadway. One witness who saw the entire thing unfold told authorities that Page appeared not right and was talking to himself while directing cars that didn't exist and trying to wave them through quicker, even though there were no cars in the area.
What booze are you drinking that you're hallucinating?
They say that Page smelled of alcohol, prompting them to detain him under suspicion of DUI for allegedly driving to the scene. An open can of Mike's Hard Lemonade. Yeah. And an open...
Mike's Hard Lemonade?
Oh, come on.
Come on, dude.
And an unopened can of Natty Light were allegedly found inside his patrol car.
But one of them was open. That's all. Mike's Hard Lemonade? Come on.
Page won Deputy of the Year in 2019 while working for Houston County. He allegedly refused to take a breath test and was also uncooperative at the Bibb County Jail upon his arrest, with staff reporting that he tried removing a needle from his arm during an attempted blood test.
Damn.
He was all in. Authorities had to secure a warrant from a Superior Court judge to finally get his blood drawn, though the results still have not been made public. He was reportedly released after being booked on DUI charges, and officials say he's been suspended, pending termination.
Yeah, look, man, I don't know the guy, but that's more than Mike's Hard Lemonade. Like, I don't know that I have drank to the point of hallucination. I've drank to the point of passing out, getting in a fight, doing all the regular stuff, but not directing imaginary traffic. That said, I have done things where I might direct imaginary traffic, and it wasn't booze. Yeah, you're not drinking that.
Absolutely.
Right, so he shows up. He's already hammered.
Yeah.
He thinks he sees traffic and starts...
Outside of a school, which his heart is in the right place, for sure. Protect the kids.
Well, the last caller talked about the border thing. Did you read the story about a guy who was a gang member and accidentally went over the Peace Bridge, which I believe is in your old part of the woods?
Yeah, it's over by Buffalo.
He took a wrong turn, and he was messed up, and he didn't have any identification on him. So when he gets to the bridge, he realizes, and then he tried to make a U-turn.
Which that will definitely get attention.
So they stopped him, and basically he was in the United States illegally. He did not have a passport. He was also a gang member. So
Jesus Christ.
They basically just arrested his ass right there for a wrong turn on the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, protect yourself and know what you're going to do. If you go to a foreign country, you're looking like tourist spots and all that kind of thing, or food you want to eat. I'm more looking at like the laws. Just about what happens when I show up, what happens when I don't, and what do you need to get there? We're there. First time I went to Mexico, there's a lady, she's fighting with the gate attendant. Because at this point, we're starting to board the plane, and I hear this lady say to the flight person, go, "But my friend told me all I need is my driver's license, as opposed to passport." And my first thought is, look, don't ask for legal advice from a friend who's not a lawyer. Do not ask for international travel advice from someone who doesn't do it, because your friends, they mean well, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I just remember the flight attendant saying to this woman, and I understood why she was upset. It's frustrating. You think you've done everything you need to do. You haven't. So the flight attendant said, look, I can let your ass on this plane. We can fly you to Mexico. That's not the problem because you're in the United States. When you get to a foreign country and don't have your passport, they're either going to detain you or send you back. So it would make more sense for you just to book a flight for 24 hours from now, get your passport, and get in there and enjoy your 6 days instead of 7.
Right.
And that's what she didn't want to hear. I'm like, suit yourself, lady. Suit yourself.
Who unintentionally made a really bad decision? 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, someone here says it's now called Mike's Harder Lemonade.
Hello. Did they make a stronger version? Wow. All right, Mike.
Hello, George. Welcome to the men's room.
Yeah. You crazy.
Hey, sorry, it's Jordan.
Jordan.
Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola. Hey, so when I was in high school, I was going to Arlington High School, and about, I want to say like 4 years ago, this girl...
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
He was selling stuff.
Selling stuff outside of the school.
Wait, am I on?
Yep, you're back on.
Yeah, just can't say that word.
Okay, my bad. All right, so he was selling stuff at school, and he gave her a bunch of free mushrooms, and she ended up taking them all.
Oh, my God.
And she's like freaking out, wandering the halls like barefoot, and like just doing all kinds of unhinged stuff.
Well, don't eat the whole bag and don't eat it at school.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's like the guy, and it doesn't matter what airline it was, but it was up here, right? And then, bless you.
Thank you.
Like he's a pilot, not on duty.
Oh,
but
yeah.
is in the cockpit, right? Because he's a pilot.
For that airline.
Right. And, decided that was going to be the first time he tried mushrooms before that flight. And then, freaked out and was like, we're going to crash the plane.
Trying to kill the engine or something, right?
Yeah, just something crazy.
Trying to take the plane down, yeah. And no one really figured it out. And then, the follow-up story was, okay, it turns out he's not suicidal. He did not have a death wish for the people on the plane. He was tripping on mushrooms for the first time. Just did not make sense of his universe in that moment. And those were the decisions that...
Do not take drugs that you've never taken or don't understand before you get on an aircraft. Because you're stuck there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Same with a boat. At least with a boat, maybe you can figure out a way to go hide someplace, but not on an airplane.
I would also say, too, I get it, he's at work, but, sometimes it helps to tell somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I have dealt with this in my personal life where somebody was with them for a long time on a holiday, and finally I was like, what is with you, man? You are killing me.
Yeah.
I took a hit of acid this morning. Okay,
now
now I can deal with you because at least I understand your alters. But earlier today, I just was wanted to smack you.
I got more questions. What time? Why? Are you alone doing this? Do you have any more? Right. Coming up, the top 10 songs of the century will sit and spin. And we got your emails coming up next in the men's room at KISW.com.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Eat, save, and be merry with low prices and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh. Whether you're looking for sweet deals on holiday treats or your dream gingerbread house, outshine the tree with holiday deals delivered right to your doorstep. Prime members save even more with deals on thousands of grocery items and up to 50% off on weekly favorites. Celebrate the holiday season with savings and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Do you know the number one thing that surprises engaged couples? Take a guess. The sheer amount of decisions they have to make while planning a wedding. Indoors or outdoors, how many guests, Are kids invited? Controversial. Which cake flavor? Seriously, how do you even begin to figure out what's right for you? That's where Zola comes in. Zola has everything you need to make every wedding decision a piece of cake, from choosing your dream wedding venue and vendors to deciding how to best spend your budget. With tons of customizable wedding websites, save the dates, and invites, every detail will feel like you. Zola will even help you choose the gifts, experiences, and cash funds you really want. The next thing you know, you've planned your whole wedding all in one place. From getting engaged to getting married, Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place. Start planning at Zola.com. That's ZOLA.com.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over the air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
We're once again teaming up with the Washington State Council firefighters and Operation Warm for Coats for Kids.
Yeah.
The goal, to put a brand new coat on a kid in need, and there are 2,500 kids that we want to put a brand new coat on. Yeah. The United States made for only $20 a piece. Now, to give you perspective, if we can get above that, that would be great, because there are 300,000 kids here in just the state of Washington that are living in poverty.
Yeah.
So 2,500 coats, that's a modest number, but either way, we're trying to hit that goal. Right now, we're at about $12,500.
Okay.
We need $50,000. Okay, so if you've got $5, $10, I know you're out there doing holiday shopping and everything else, but this will put a brand new coat on a kid that needs one for only $20.
Yeah, even $1 helps, honest to God.
So if you could get that done, please head to KISW.com and donate what you can. We will keep pushing until we get that $50,000 mark and make things right for the kids in the area. Okay, let's see. Cody, we're going to sit and spin, but first we have time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And a couple of making some bad decisions. Older gentlemen, I decided to take some mushrooms at my friend's apartment. Just relax, have a good time. Then I got a call from my parents, and they said that they needed to have a conversation with me. So I had to go back home. Luckily, I'm not feeling bad, but then we sit down to discuss college and the programs that I've been accepted into while they're babbling along about whatever. And then everything kind of kicked in. That's when I realized I totally screwed up and had to keep my cool, even though the ottoman was trying to seduce me to lay down and just have a relaxing good time. Luckily, I managed to make it through the conversation, went back upstairs, played Call of Duty on mushrooms, and went to bed. Needless to say, that was my last trip on mushrooms. Rock on, bitches. That from Justin.
I would think Call of Duty is real intense if you're on mushrooms.
Well, much like you have had your situation where you had to swear off tequila.
Yeah.
I swore off mushrooms many years ago, and I have not been back. That was, I knew that night that was the last time that I was ever going to. Now, granted, I was taking other things.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, I blamed it on the mushrooms.
Blame it on the shrooms.
I did. I mean, I wasn't like I hadn't been drinking all day and
all the other things.
Doing other things. But to me, it was the mushrooms that took it too far. Yeah. So since that point in time, there might have been other things involved.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, some other bad decisions I made that night. But that's what I'm blaming it on. Mushrooms.
All right.
Have you tried them?
Mushrooms?
Yeah.
Since then?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
No, I've done other things.
Yeah, of course. You've done all the other things.
Yeah, I just found my preferred method of getting that to that place.
Sure.
And mushrooms is not the way that I do well at serving myself.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, I'll just eat the small little corner of the dust in the bag and the small little cap. What could that do? You just had 3 giant mushrooms. The dust.
That's where the action's at, baby.
Don't think that that's just something in the corner of the bag. That is the key of the mushroom world. Man.
It absolutely is.
So if you ever get into that, be careful.
All right.
Who set off the alarm, guys? In middle school in class, and a classmate was tossing a pencil to another classmate, hit the fire alarm button on the ceiling. The entire school was evacuated, and the fire department did the entire sweep. We came back in, told them what happened, and we went on about the rest of the day. That from Kevin in Linwood.
Was there any? I'd always heard the rumor, and I don't know if there's any truth to it because I never pulled a fire alarm in school, but it would like shoot ink on your fingers or something like that. I don't know if that's that's what we always heard. So because when you're a little kid, like, ooh, we should pull the fire alarm because that would be funny. Not understanding that it's not, but the rumor I'd always heard, they were like, dude, that thing squirts ink out. They will know that it is you who did it. So we never touched it.
I don't know, and thank God I've never been in a school where anybody did it as a prank.
I haven't.
Like I've been in a school where there was a fire alarm because it was real.
Sure,
you had to leave, but yeah, I don't know, man. That's just so scary. Plus, I mean, most of them say what the fine is if you just pull it to pull it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as an adult, it's easy for me not to do it. As a kid, you're always like, but it's right.
According to my friend Google, says no, fire alarms do not shoot out ink.
Okay. That's a good rumor for the kids to believe, though, man.
Okay. We were off, obviously, a couple days there for the holiday. We got a couple of these emails. Guys, I turned 50 on Saturday. Woo! That's a big birthday. Wait, sorry. Forgot you guys are off on Saturdays. I think we got another birthday email on Saturday, too.
We did.
From Stevie. Shannon. Either that or it was Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We typically are off on Saturday and Sunday. I know they play.
His was yesterday, though.
Oh, his was yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Stevie. We were off yesterday. That from Rudy in Yakima, who turned 50 years old. Sorry, we don't do requests when we're not here. Guys, my oldest son, Coyote, has a birthday. I would love a shout-out with some dirty Germans, followed by a bong rip and a men's room quartet fish sandwich. Much love from a longtime listener and rockaholic from the lovely Stephanie.
Can I get a fish sandwich? Oh, you know I gotta eat right. Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich? You put the cheese and the tartar on the side.
Yeah, for your birthday, we're going to make you live up to your name, and everyone will hear you howl.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It's the dirty Germans are much like these coyotes. We hunt in packs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never just one of us.
Oh, my gosh, my coworker Jessica is having a birthday today. She only knows of your show because I'm constantly blasting it at work.
Nice.
I think she would love to hear what the captain has planned for Christmas. And if it's not too much to ask, maybe add the baby shark intro. It's been stuck in her head since the last Big Dummy. Let's get it stuck in her head some more. Thanks, guys. That from Brett.
Ooh, well, ahoy there, and happy holidays. You know, normally my Christmases are spent with the mascots on the SS Guppy, where we enjoy hot cocoa, a gift exchange, Christmas caroling, and bonded sex. But this year will be a little different. Due to a little legal snafu I found myself in as a result of a miscommunication between a prime minister, a sultan, a one-legged Guatemalan warlord, and a saucy little barista named Chaka, I've been asked to make good by assisting Santa Claus with his gift delivery. And just so you know, it's not the first time I'll be assisting Mr. Kringle. In 1993, his sleigh collided with a flock of seagulls, and I got a call to hell. And I mean the band, not the birds. And then again in 2007, when Santa got drunk on Quaker Oatsman's septic tank whiskey. We call it that because it's sort of like whiskey, but with more eye-burning gastrointestinal issues and irreversible loss of motor functions. Let's just say that Santa had a little bit indisposed that day, and I was needed to assist. So anyway, this year, I'll be sliding down chimneys, delivering gifts, smelling your hair while you sleep, and of course, be doing it naked. Crunch berries.
God.
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark.
You know, Tony the Tiger beat this kid once, and nobody minded.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Yes, friends, it's time once again for Sit and Spin. Let's gather around the old radio and listen to some swellerific new music.
Swellerific it is. I'll tell you on Sit and Spin, we have the top 10 songs of the century. Quarter of a century anyway.
Yeah.
So the fine folks at uprocks.com decided to rank the 100 best hits so far in the last 24 years. In order to be eligible for the list, a song had to reach the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. So these are popular songs.
Okay.
Songs that the kids like. The ones that you don't really know who the artists are.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play a little game today and try to figure out as many as we can get right out of the top 10. Now, we do have for you the top 25. I will give you a couple of the names of the titles. You will see if any of you can guess the artist, and then we'll have Mike play the actual top 10 and see if we can guess. So, all right, coming in at number 25. The tune is the 25th best of the century. That would be Dirt Off Your Shoulder from 2004.
Jay-Z.
That is correct.
Oh, Ted.
At 24, the song is Sunflower from 2019.
Post Malone?
Post Malone.
All right.
And Sway Lee.
Swally. Swally was on there.
All right. Coming in at number 23, the song is Mask Off from 2017.
Future.
That is correct. We already got Hold On, We're Going Home, 22 from Drake. How about 21? Viva La Vida from 2008. Viva La Vida.
I'm going to guess Bad Bunny again.
I'll say, I don't know, Benny Blanco.
That is actually from Coldplay.
Oh, damn it.
Viva La Vida.
Yeah.
Mi Porto Benito, we got that Bad Bunny. Get Low from Little John, went over that one. Coming in at number 17, Ted, it's easy. This is one you can just knock out of the park. Into Club from 2003.
50 Cent?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we had Bodak Yellow from Cardi B on the list. How about Despacito from 2017?
Well, Bieber ends up doing a version of it.
He is featured on the tune. And is it Louis Fonsi?
I can't remember who did it.
Hey, but you got the Bieber part. It's 50%.
Right. How about number 14 on the list? That would be Effing Problems from 2013.
From 2013.
Effing Problems.
How about A$AP Rocky?
That is correct. Featuring. This is always the hardest part because
I got to figure out who was on. Is that he doesn't go by his first name, something boy anymore? 2 Chainz?
2 Chainz.
Damn. Heads on a roll, baby.
Also Drake and Kendrick Lamar on that tune from 2013.
Well, they love bad bitches. They have an effing problem.
I see.
I see. Thank you, Ted, for explaining.
The song number 13 is Team from 2014.
Team.
Ooh.
20. What genre are we looking at here?
That is a great question.
Is it just straight pop?
Kate Bush, how's that?
But she's not the artist.
No.
But it's along. So someone Kate Bushy.
What year?
2014.
Yeah, Kate Bushy, Mike. So describe it.
I don't know.
Lord.
Oh, all right. I know the name, but
okay.
Is that Madonna's daughter or something like that? Whose daughter is she? She's somebody's
Lourdes.
daughter. Oh, that's Lourdes.
Yes.
Man, okay.
At number 12, Thank You Next from 2018 is kind of popular right now.
Thank you.
That's Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. All right. Miss Jackson from 2001.
Outcast.
Outcast, and now we have made it to the top 10.
That is a great tune.
Mike, you have the top 10 list. We're going to see how many, because these are the 10 most popular songs of the century.
Number 10.
They not like us.
Well,
they not like
Kendrick.
us.
They not like us.
That's probably the newest song on the list.
That is from 2024.
All right. So Kendrick Lamar.
Well done.
Top 10 songs of the century on Sit and Spin.
Number 9.
From 2004. Oh, Usher. Who all was on this one?
I heard everyone that went to that show, Climb and Pledge Arena, came home the next morning pregnant.
Usher featuring Ludacris.
Yep, and
Come on, Ted, go for the
one more. Come on, go for gold.
I guess Little John.
Little John, correct.
Nice work.
That's a great song.
Yeah, that's bad.
Top 10 songs of the century.
Number 8.
From 2002.
Oh, Eminem.
Oh, Eminem.
I hear the new originals do it better, though.
I've heard that, especially the lead singer.
Damn right.
Who sings this for the new original?
Mike.
Did you really do this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was great. We're
This is
like,
an acoustic set.
you're the last person they expect to sing it. That's why it's going to be great when you do it. And truth is, you crushed it,
Go up there in khakis and a button down. Let's roll this.
Khakis.
And acoustic. That's right.
These are the top 10 songs of the century on Sit and Spin.
Number 7.
From 2005.
Oh, Killer.
Correct.
That ranked as one of the...
Yeah, it's an awesome song, and you can't go to a sporting event and not hear this.
Correct.
It's specifically with soccer and college football.
It's not my favorite, but I can't deny the legs that this thing has and just the staying power that it's got. This is an anthem.
Yeah, I've been to so many college football games, and then I'm like, I didn't even know I knew the lyrics. But I'm standing up singing it.
Top 10 songs of the century on Sin Spin.
Number 6.
All right, Steve, I know you're going to get this one, but from 2017. I was joking. I don't think you're going to get it at all.
God, I feel like I've heard this from my kids.
2017.
It's not Drake.
It's not Drake.
Not A$AP Rocky.
Not A$AP Rocky.
I feel like he's one of these guys where this is always his tone. I feel like I've heard other tunes from this dude. It's always kind of this lazy vocal thing.
Name features a firearm.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, very close. No.
Man, I don't know.
Lil Uzi.
Oh, right there.
Yep.
Is his dad Big Uzi?
Big Uzi
Junior.
Oh.
Top 10 songs of the century.
Number 5.
Ted's Love from 2004.
Oh, yeah, Britney.
Hell yeah. This is kind of her last big hit before she kind of went away.
Man,
Did you hear about Britney Spears over the weekend? That video she put up?
No.
No.
Now what'd she do?
Well, first of all, she got her birthday wrong. She got
said she was
42, but she's 43.
Oh, God.
And then she said she's moving to Mexico because of paparazzi chasing her around. And she's going to go down there and celebrate her 5th birthday.
And go back to kindergarten.
Her 5th birthday.
Look, these are her words out of her mouth. And when she talks, she's about here now. I don't know what happened or if she just had a crazy night last night, but it's like, wow, man.
That's one of those ones. It's like, now I'm starting to think maybe that governorship was all right.
I think a lot of us looking back go, yeah, that was probably the right thing to do. Because now she sounds like Louis Armstrong.
From uprocks.com, these are the top 10 songs of the century.
Number 4.
From 2008.
We should know the number 4 song.
I mean, that's Lil Wayne.
That's Lil Wayne, correct.
All by himself?
It says all by himself, just Lil Wayne.
I'll be darned.
He used to be Itty Bitty Wayne. Then he grew a little. Now he's little. They never got big.
That's wild that guy's been rapping that long.
He's been around for a long time.
He was on some of those Juvenile records when I was in high school.
I wonder if Big Wayne's hanging out with Big Uzi.
Yeah. Our boys are doing quite well for themselves.
Proud of their little offspring.
Yeah.
Top 10 songs of the century.
Number 3.
From 2021.
Oh, that's
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. This is specifically Taylor's version. This is the 10-minute song that she released that everybody's loving on these days.
Is this the one? Because she did an SNL a couple of years ago, and they let her do this full long-ass song. Mm-hmm. So I assume this is the same one?
Yeah, this is a legit 10-minute song. Like this, the one that we have in the system that I grabbed this from is condensed down to 5 minutes, but this is a 10-minute song. Okay. Anybody know who it's about?
I don't know. John Mayer?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, that's right.
Oh, he got a full 10 minutes.
He gets the 10-minute song.
All right, Jake.
That's right.
Yeah, you did some real emotional damage.
Right. Well,
Top 10 songs of the century on Sit and Spin.
Number 2.
From 2004.
Oh, Kanye.
Featuring.
Jamie Foxx?
Selena Johnson.
I've never heard of her.
That's the girl in your Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is off College Dropout. Great album.
Nice.
Okay.
One of the best songs of the century.
We should know this one. Because
yes, you should.
For 24 years, this is the number 1 song of the century.
Number 1.
From 2008, and if I'm not mistaken, the greatest music video of all time.
Miss Fivehead.
Is this just Beyonce?
It is just Beyonce, it says.
Okay. I don't know. Back then, maybe this was still a Destiny's Child song. I'm not sure.
No, this is Miles
Beyonce.
and I saw her perform it at the Super Bowl. They even gave us a purple finger to wave around.
Yeah.
I'm not making
Put
a
a ring on it.
And the finger that was up was the ring finger?
Yes.
Nice. Depending on the size of your hand. But yeah, in theory,
I've seen
it's
a lot
ring
of foam
finger.
fingers, but it's always the number 1 because you're supposed to be like, we're number 1.
Right. Now, these were purple plastic, like blinking or just glowing fingers. I did not participate in this part of the halftime. No, man.
You're usually gung-ho to do this.
We were in a beer line.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, have
And
fun.
then she blew the power and we got to drink there more.
I will say, so the Formula One race I went to, you got these little bracelets. And the night before, same thing. I was like, why do we need these bracelets? And then when we watched how cool it looked on TV, the next night I had mine on. I was like, I would have been flashing at the same time with everybody else.
There are the top 10 songs of the century. Okay, coming up at 5:07, we will drink and toast with a shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You hear that, America? The mountain is calling. Calling you on this cloudy Tuesday morning with a very important message.
Get off your ass.
So grab an ice cold Mountain Dew, some friends, and do something you'll enjoy even more than the lifestyle content you're keeping up with. The mountain is calling. Answer. Do the do.
I'm Anna Garcia with True Crime News, the podcast. Every crime tells a story. Every story demands justice. True Crime News, the podcast, covers breaking crimes, investigating high-profile and under-the-radar cases. Every week, we dive beyond the headlines, exploring the effects of violent crimes on victims and search for justice. We hope you join us as your weekly source for true crime news. Listen to and follow True Crime News, the podcast, on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Cut up 5:07. We'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, a quick check with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Researchers in Japan may have found a solution to schizophrenia through brain stimulation therapy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Which, if they can take care of that, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be huge.
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical company's like, what?
Yeah, right, no kidding. Yeah. Wait a minute. What are we doing over here? No.
Hey.
They need a pill for that. New research says music may change how you feel about past events.
In what way?
So basically what they were saying is you know, some amount of stress or trauma happens, and you find a song that kind of associates with it, whether the song was just playing nonstop during the time that happened, or maybe it was playing at the exact moment that it happened, so you kind of always go back there. And it just basically, it said that music will influence how you feel about what it is that happened there, and sometimes it might even change how you felt.
I've found when that is true, generally it is an event that's already happened.
Sure.
And then I hear a song that reminds me of the event, and generally puts it more into perspective for me. Because some people like sad songs and they want to cheer up. And look, that happens to anybody. But usually, as a guy that likes rock, most of the time is, I want to kick some ass, right? So, yeah, this thing happened. The lyrics kind of mirror whatever it was that you were holding on to this anger. And then, I don't know, you kind of feel empowered after you hear that.
Sure.
Like, let's go kick their ass. I mean, think about it.
Or
no one has a stupid walk-up song. Well, not no one, but generally speaking.
Right.
It's something to pump your ass up.
There's an artist that is kind of just owned by somebody you know.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, their favorite artist. That, you know.
Yeah.
They always play to whatever the deal is. That'll bring back memories of those people.
Absolutely.
I feel like sometimes it brings back a bad memory.
Sure.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because it's whatever song you heard after you got some terrible news or something, and I'm just like, oh, God.
Right. Or maybe it was a song that helped you get through a terrible time in your life, and now that you're through it, you don't ever want to hear that song again.
I think if I have to hear terrible news, I would tune to a radio station I hate.
There you go.
That way, the only songs that I associate with this bad thing are songs I already don't like.
Just straight Christmas music.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to ruin stuff I do like, you know? I'd put Barbara Mandrell on or something like that. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
New study found that guilt tipping is changing the behaviors of consumers.
What do you mean, just tipping because you feel guilty?
Basically, what it is whatever service it is that you're paying for, they have the tip menu on there. Mm-hmm. And there are some that don't even let you just hit a button that says, skip it. There's been times where you have to physically, if you're not going to tip, you have to type in $0 tip, 0 cents. And they say that while they will tip more if prompted to do so and guilted into doing so, that will also pretty much be the last time that consumer goes to whatever establishment.
Right, so you don't feel bad about
it. They were forced to do that. But that's another thing where technology has kind of changed that entire spectrum of things. It used to be that tipping was basically the change that you had left. It was keep the change sort of a thing. Or maybe you left one of the bills down there on the table, and now technology has made it a lot easier. Like, you need to give us more money. You haven't given us enough yet. And that's just one of the negative effects.
And I think it's tough, too, when people are, sorry, I cut you off, like certain services, it's like, I scooped this food into this box.
Right. Why am I tipping you if I did the work? You always said that about a fondue restaurant. You put a roof over our head. We cooked the goddamn meal.
Exactly. Well, and my wife will ask me if we're ordering takeout or whatever it is, how much of a tip should I leave? Do you even leave a tip if we're picking up? I said, no. At that point, I'm just buying the food. I do not tip the people at McDonald's when I go through the drive-thru.
Exactly.
Same thing with the restaurant. Like, I understand. Like, they make a little bit extra on the tips, which is nice.
But there's no wait staff involved.
Right. There's no service there other than you're giving me what I paid for.
And kitchen staff gets paid a set amount. Right. And that was always the thing when I worked in kitchens, the summer typically was the lighter season in the restaurants.
Right.
So the wait staff didn't enjoy it as much, didn't have as much dough, and we were making more than them. And then this time of the season happens, and the restaurants were packed. They were making goo gobs of money. They started making more than us, but my money never changed. It was easier for me to plan my life because I know what I'm going to make.
Exactly. But you know what? That's just one drawback of technology. And what if I told you there's even more?
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 potential negative effects of technology. Sometimes you just want to escape for a few days. Leave all the devices at home. Location services turned off. Just you, nature, a boiling vat of hydrochloric acid, and an unsuspecting hitchhiker. But no. Traffic cameras put an end to all of that harmless fun.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so these are negative effects of technology. Towards the bottom of the list, they say it may cause a loss of empathy as we become more accustomed to online violence.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it is AI generated, whether it's a video game that you're watching, or you're actually watching live doggone footage of people just being horrible to one another. It's, you think about it, America's Funniest Home Videos, with some of the best stuff that we would watch is just people falling down or basically hurting themselves in different ways.
Still fun, but
right.
But no one was really targeting them. I just think with social media and all that, and not even social media, the fact you can get all of your news 24 hours a day.
Right.
In the capacity, if you're inundated with anything, you start to lose your empathy.
And we're gluttons for punishment and for conflict as well. As much as we don't like the drama, no, you do. You really do like the drama.
And to build a mental callus, right? If you work with your hands, you got tougher hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's some stuff, I don't know. Like, sometimes it just depends on the night or whatever. There might be a series I really like, but I'm like, man, it's 11 p.m. I don't need to watch people get shot before I go to bed.
I go through that more now, just like, is this the last thing I want to watch? No, I'll wait.
Right.
I'll wait.
Maybe Frontline will have to wait this week.
That's right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we just.
I can still watch Nova.
Nova.
Well, it's like the Melendez brothers. Like that got.
Oh yeah.
That got way too. Thrill and I and his wife were told. I was like, I had to turn it off. Right. It was way too troubling.
Now go to bed.
Right. Yeah. It's bad enough that you knew they murdered their parents in cold blood, but somehow when you watch this thing, it made it worse.
Right. Being plugged in constantly adds a new layer of stress, they say.
Oh, yeah. You can't help it.
Right.
I mean, you get news alerts, all the rest of the stuff. Typically, it's a news feed you want to see, so they're feeding you whatever it is you want to digest. That's one thing. We were off a couple of days, and I told Miles, I kind of forgot that the world existed.
Yeah.
Because I was just hanging out with the family, doing some things, a little bit of day drinking here. Let's go to the Cyndi Lauper concert this night. And then last night, I'm like, oh, God, that's right. There's a whole world out there.
Well, and you can see the smile fade off of every face in here as we come in like, all right, how was the break? Guys, you all had fun? Okay, let me sit down at the computer and look at all my emails here and look at the news. Oh, the news.
Oh, wow. Damn. Okay.
Wow. That's right. This is where we live.
I know. You do. You just forget. It's like, oh, great break, man. I came in refreshed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. This stuff's going on.
And the only thing that keeps me going, Steve, is something that you put very apropos. It is, as long as that is still news, that's a good thing.
That's what I explained to the kids. I said, look, man, as long as bad news is the news, that is good news.
Correct. A loss of privacy online and a risk of hacking creates more deceit.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's just
you know what you're doing.
Scammers
but we're willing to take the risk.
Right. Technology addiction is becoming more widespread.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, especially watching sports, Like, if I'm just watching the Seahawks game, not Red Zone, I have to be careful. Because every commercial break, I'm picking up my damn phone to see what else is going on.
Right, exactly.
And then before I realize that I'm missing a play, and I'm like, you could hear it. I'm just angry at myself.
Exactly.
Like, you know better.
I'll
put the phone down.
I'll do the same thing if I forget my phone in my car, or maybe it's up here, and I'm riding the elevator up to work. We are up 14 floors, and as soon as I get into that elevator, I find myself slapping my pocket, about to pull out my phone. It's like, you can't go 14 floors without having to have some sort of mental stimulation here.
Yeah, people really struggle with that.
They do. Like, that's going to be the new thing. You know, there are people that quit drinking for a month. They quit smoking for a month. They
take the dry TikTok.
Exactly, dude. That's going to become a thing. Like, no, for the next month, you don't get your phone. Like, I wonder how many people are going to start going down to dumb phones. Like, we've seen studies where the dumb phones are actually getting a little bit of a rise. Now, they're not going to beat smartphones.
Old people love them.
Absolutely.
I can call and text.
There you go. That's all you need. Let's see here. Social media promotes a culture where drugs and a lack of sexual boundaries are apparent.
I've never seen the drug.
I don't know you can blame social media on that as opposed to everyone who's already in that world sharing it with you.
Pretty much.
I mean, you think about any music that you probably listened to growing up, like, they were pretty open about talking about this stuff.
And right on its heels is that the internet makes explicit videos more available to children.
Well, sure, yeah.
And it's put out there, and it's so easy to put out there, and and for some it's lucrative to put it out there.
Are you 18? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, there's somebody checking an ID.
Right.
And, like, look, I would do my best as a teenager to watch videos I thought were sexy, but, like, you couldn't just hop online and go look them up.
Go right there and find it, absolutely. Technology causes more energy consumption and pollution.
Well, of course.
Right. It says electronic devices obviously require electricity to run, which means it costs more to enjoy all this tech. It also requires massive amounts of energy to produce all these gadgets, not to mention the massive electronic waste problem due to gadgets that are no longer working. You know, when it comes to your phone dying on you, like, turning those things in is actually the better way to go about that.
I'm just worried about the battery exploding during charging or something.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I never leave the house with certain things plugged in because I'm worried about the battery. Well, yeah. I have electronic hand warmers. They work forever. But the battery in there gets so hot.
Right.
And I'm afraid if I plug that thing in, walk out, I'm like, all right, well, great.
The house burned down.
Just because I want to have hand warmers.
Exactly. Again, these are negative effects of technology. It says technology can cause eye and ear problems.
Well, depending how you choose to use it. Yeah.
Anyone who sits in front of a computer all day long knows how mentally and physically draining it can be. And at the end of the day, you might notice that your eyes become blurry and have difficulties focusing, which is why everybody should have blue light glasses.
Got them from my kid once he discovered the video game world. Like,
right.
Just do me a favor. Look, if you get a job and your job is to sit there and do all that kind of crap, then that's something you volunteered to do. The video games, you're a kid. I get it. Just wear these glasses.
Right.
You don't even have to ask why. Just put them on.
Honestly speaking, everybody in this room should be wearing them during the workday as well.
My eyes are already shot, so...
Right, because we're in front of screens the whole time.
Exactly. The use of technology may stunt the imagination of children, which...
I think it depends on the kid. I mean, because it could also open it up. Depending what the kid's interested in and what wormholes they fall down, and then all these tools they can use to create. Like for my daughter, it blows it up.
Sure.
You know, everything she does in the paint and all these crazy things that I could never do as a kid.
Right.
You know, so really, I think it just depends on the kid.
Even if you go back 25 years, the guitar thing.
Oh, Guitar
Hero, yeah.
A lot of people started buying guitars and learning to play because of that game.
Right. Sure.
There is. I think there's also the downside of they get bored so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I might have to sit in the backyard by myself, and it sounds silly now playing Army Man by myself crawling around, but like I had to figure out ways to kind of stay entertained.
Which brings us to the next one. Technology promotes a shorter attention span.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
You know, especially with TikTok. 15-second videos, which are fun. Like, I'm not down-talking it at all because I am absolutely just immersed in that as well, but they're 15 seconds apiece. Okay. And then we're off to the next one.
And my thing is, like, I don't blame TikTok. People get mad about it. I'm like, but you don't have to watch it. I understand but it's like drugs. You might get addicted to it, but at no point did you ever have to do this.
Right.
And it's not TikTok's fault. They are for the content that you keep saying you want.
Right.
Right. And that's what it is. I forget the name of that documentary that came out, but it's
Social Dilemma, I believe.
It just shows how it works on your brain.
Right.
And it's like, right, it is like a drug. You got stuff, synapses firing off and this and that. And once you're in it, it's hard to stop.
Exactly. I've actually had to tell myself, you know, why do I need to go onto Facebook? What do you think that you're going to find on Facebook that's so otherworldly entertaining that you just have to look at it right now? You're not. You're just doom scrolling where you're going to have just this slack face on the entire time, and it's going to mildly amuse you in the in-between.
And you're right. TikTok is like, here's a quick deliver hit, something that you'll find at least mildly entertaining.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like crack.
Technology leaves us feeling
The
isolated.
high doesn't last long. Boy, you're going to like it.
That 5 minutes fun.
That's right. Technology leaves us feeling isolated at number 2 on the list. It can.
It can. Because you can basically be by yourself and find everything you need, but also human interaction's a good thing. That's why I like going to the bar. I mean, look, if you work in tech all day, like IT guys, right? The only time you have a conversation with someone around the office because they have a problem. So you really just do your job all day without a whole lot of break. But, like, go to the bar when you're done, man. It makes a huge difference.
And when you think about it, what it is doing is it's kind of you're volunteering to be on the outside looking in. You know, you're looking at all your friends posting all their photos and their videos and doing what it is that they're doing, and people actually doing their, living their lives. I just want to sit here and watch.
Sometimes, though, even if they're having a wonderful life, I can't stand looking at it.
Right.
I can tell you off the air right now when I'm just absolutely tired of, and I know them, but I want to unfollow the guy.
Exactly.
Because I'm just like, this is too much.
Right.
This is too much sharing.
You ever see that couple that's on there? It's like, I know you guys aren't happy.
No, I think this person is very happy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm just like, stop with all the happiness.
And then the number 1 negative effect of technology, we hear about it all the doggone time. Technology affects our sleeping habits.
Well, yeah.
We're staying up way too late in the middle of the night. We're watching TV. We're scrolling. We're texting friends. We're doing everything. It's just, you're burning your sleep and you're staring at a blue light the entire time, and it's hurting you.
What I've actually started doing, just to cut down on my late night TV consumption, because my problem is just based on the kids' ages, the shows I want to watch, there's no chance.
Correct.
That they get, or I don't want to have to explain the scenario, if you know what I mean. So I now grab a book, and that's like my last hour and a half of the night.
There you go.
Right? Just immerse myself in a book.
A woman in the UK was issued a citation for dropping a cigarette on the ground, but there's just a couple issues there, Miles.
You can do that.
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming in at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. All right, have a minute to drinking time.
Eat, save, and be merry with low prices and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh. Whether you're looking for sweet deals on holiday treats or your dream gingerbread house, outshine the tree with holiday deals delivered right to your doorstep. Prime members save even more with deals on thousands of grocery items and up to 50% off on weekly favorites. Celebrate the holiday season with savings and same-day delivery from Amazon Fresh.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Do you know the number 1 thing that surprises engaged couples? Take a guess. The sheer amount of decisions they have to make while planning a wedding. Indoors or outdoors? How many guests? Are kids invited? Controversial. Which cake flavor? Seriously, how do you even begin to figure out what's right for you? That's where Zola comes in. Zola has everything you need to make every wedding decision a piece of cake, from choosing your dream wedding venue and vendors to deciding how to best spend your budget. With tons of customizable wedding websites, save the dates, and invites, every detail will feel like you. Zola will even help you choose the gifts, experiences, and cash funds you really want. The next thing you know, you've planned your whole wedding all in one place. From getting engaged to getting married, Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place. Start planning at Zola.com. That's ZOLA.com.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. you're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting. Yes, indeed, and today we toast 32-year-old Hector D. Velasquez Maldonado of Chesterfield County, Virginia. And we repeat this story at least once a year, every year, because 'tis the season.
Yep.
So with the holidays now in full swing, people are feeling pressured to buy gifts, and if you're less fortunate, well, that can be super stressful. And that's apparently what motivated our honoree to try to steal $1,400 worth of merchandise from Walmart. Now, he's not the first or the only person to make that attempt, but maybe pick a different day. You see, when you park your car in front of 30 to 40 marked police cars in the parking lot, if that doesn't deter you, maybe don't walk in and see 50 officers in uniform inside a Walmart. But no, Hector, that doesn't stop him. Instead, he tried to shoplift during the annual Shop with a Cop event where the officers help children pick out presents. Well, Walmart employees saw him trying to steal stuff. The cops apprehended him quickly because, again, there were 50 of them. And again, I want to point out, they're in uniform. There's nothing subtle about this. And after they arrested him and they went to his vehicle, the one cop said, not only did he park next to all of our police cars, he parked facing us. So he knew that we were in there, right? And then walked in, which reconfirms that they're there. And he tried, he failed. We get this story every single year because there's always a Shop with a Cop thing before Christmas. Just pick a different day if you
might get another
try. One. Yeah, you might get another one. You know what? I'll bet you $5. We got one more before the end of the year.
All right, I'll take the under.
You take the under? All right.
Smarten up, criminals.
Come on, man. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bitch, hola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played? Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And based on the story and what you believe to be true of the stereotype of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is. It makes the story a story. I apologize to the callers, but due to time, I'm going to have you three gentlemen compete against one another. And today, we offer you License to Spill. Let's do that one. And do License to Spill? Yeah, hey, now we have time. Commuters on a busy Massachusetts road faced a situation when some of the cargo fell off the back of a truck. Now, the truck failed to clear the low-situated Massachusetts Avenue overpass, repeat this story a million times, during the morning commute, knocking cargo off the truck and onto the road. Now, the truck initially left the scene, but returned about 20 minutes later to collect its cargo. They don't think he was trying to escape. They think he said, oh, crap, man. Anyway, the incident was an example of what's known locally as a Storowing, named after Boston's Storrow Drive, which features multiple low-clearance bridges that are often struck by the overhyped vehicles. But all right. God forbid you fix it, just know what's going to happen. The question we have is, what fell off the truck? What was the cargo? Was it manure? Was it horses? Was it porta potties? Or was it pigs? So manure, horses, porta potties, or pigs?
I'm going to go porta potties on this one.
Based on height, Mike, I'm going to go with you on that one.
All right.
Just because they're upright?
Yeah.
I don't believe they would ever have a transport that couldn't get under an overpass with live animals on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows?
I do think you're both right because of the height of a porta potty. But just for the hell of it, I'm going to go with horses.
Horses?
That was a massacre.
Boy, it's graphic, man.
Oh, no.
What fell off the back of this truck? Was it manure, horses, porta potties, or pigs? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories are our latest one on Profile This. License to Spill. What was the substance that got spilled everywhere? In this case, a cargo truck basically hit an overpass and knocked all the stuff that was off the back of the truck onto the roadway. Right. Took the truck a long time to figure out actually that he'd hit the overpass and spilled anything at all. But he did spill something. Was it manure, horses, porta potties, or pigs? And that's the very question that I posed to you fellas. And Ted, you agreed with Miles and Mike, but you said, I'm going to go with horses because the visual carnage of that is just, well, it's too good to pass up, kids. However, Sad. It was not horses that got blown off the back of a truck when they slammed into an overpass. And Mike and Miles, you guys both went with porta potties.
In honor of the Men's Room Holiday Porta Potty Party.
Yeah, the porta potty.
Yeah. I was telling a buddy about that the other day. He's like, you really had a honey bucket there? And I was like, damn straight we did. That's the hit of the party.
It was. Yeah. And the honey bucket people were great.
They were awesome, man.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
There it is. A little quiet. All right, your choices today. You got Seth Meyers.
Mr. Myers.
The Jimmys.
Fallon and Kimmel.
Colbert.
Steven.
Or Ted Smith.
V.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there. The title. These guys have teams of talent, writer or something come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
The Dunkin' Donuts corporate office in Massachusetts used an 11-foot-high cup to serve the world's largest iced latte, or as Ben Affleck calls it, a cold plunge.
What's his face? Fallon.
I'll say Ted Smith.
That's Fallon.
The Dunkin' Donuts corporate office in Massachusetts just used an 11-foot-high cup to serve the world's largest iced latte, or as Ben Affleck calls it, a cold plunge.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but over the weekend, the Ohio State versus Michigan game, a big fight broke out on the field, and it was so big that police had to use pepper spray to break it up. And people joke that people in the Midwest don't use spicing on their food.
The Ted Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both the food and the football, I'm like, yeah. Not bad, though.
Last year, 51.8% of online sales were made from a smartphone, and that number is expected to go up this year. So when you're opening that special gift this holiday season, remember, there's a very good chance that your loved one bought this from the toilet.
Colbert.
Kimmel.
This is interesting. Last year, 51.8% of online sales were made from a smartphone, and that number is expected to go up this year. So when you're opening that special gift this holiday season, please know that there's a very good chance your loved one bought that for you from the toilet on their phone.
The Macy's Day Parade had 31 million people watching it this year. And in related news, NBC is proud to announce the Macy's Every Thursday Parade.
Seth.
Yeah.
Fallon.
This year, a record 31 million people tuned in to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And in related news, NBC is proud to announce the Macy's Every Thursday Parade. So
that is about how stuff goes.
Oh, yeah.
If that many people like it, let's keep doing it.
Yeah, did you have a fun weekend at this concert? We'll make it 3. All right. Danny Pintauro. Help me out there, Miles.
Oh,
pretty
Pintaro.
Italian. Pintaro. All right. You might not remember his name, but he was on Who's the Boss?
Okay. I do vaguely remember.
He was the little guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was the, right, because Alyssa Milano was the girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she was.
Tony Danza was the housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he was.
Judith Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
So he was in a scooter accident on Thursday night, right? Said the bike lane I was riding in was suddenly blocked with cones, and I was forced to choose between a van and a pylon. The pylon hurt. All right. Which, I'm used to football pylons.
Right.
They're pretty soft. You can hit each other with them. So basically, he hurts his his arm and stuff. Friday mornings feel a little bit better. Then on Saturday, he's like, oh man, I got some pain in my chest and my stomach, my shoulders. He's having trouble breathing. Yeah, went to the hospital. Turns out he's got an infection in his bloodstream from a tear in his stomach lining.
Ooh.
He needed emergency surgery. And what did he say after that? Goes to the hospital.
Who's the boss?
Nope, think about it. We talk about it all the time. What do you think they told him?
If you had gotten here 5 minutes later, you would have died.
He says if I had waited any longer, he could have died.
Yeah, halfway now. When you can get a splinter in your finger, they're going to tell you that.
Yeah. He's still in the hospital. He's going to make a full recovery. He'll be released soon. But I read that. I was like, of course, you got to say it.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, it doesn't matter. Hey, man, I got a sty in my eye. If you'd waited any longer, you would have died. Yeah, okay. I know, Doc.
That's another weird one, too, right? It's a Thursday. You crash on your bike. You're like, oh, my arm's sore. On Friday, you're like, I'm doing better. And then Saturday, it's like, something's not right inside of me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what's also funny about the doctor saying that is that a lot of times they're like, hey, man, if you'd waited any longer, it would have been so much worse. I'm like, okay, but I've been here for 4 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I hear what you were saying, but I understand if I rip my leg off and I'm going to bleed out, that one's understood. But as far as why I came here and your thing that if you'd waited any longer, well, I didn't.
A lovely woman who frequents the bars in Fremont when she gets off the air, always has her scrubs on. So immediately I'm like, yeah. Overheard a conversation she was having with her boyfriend or husband or whoever it was, and he was asking her about her day. And she's like, damn, these scooters, man. And she's like, it's all day, every day. Because I'm just sitting here thinking, like, she had a horrible day. Somebody got in a bad car crash. I'm sure those things happen.
She's just tired of the scooter
She's
thing.
tired of people coming in on a daily basis constantly because either they wreck the scooter, they get on one of those e-bikes, they take a header on one of those, without a helmet on. So it's all.
I mean, the scooters you ride with your legs, right? So we're not talking about like the scooters Miles and I had.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, like I have ridden them multiple times in Austin, but Austin is flat.
Yep.
And even when I was there riding them, there's a certain point in the night, like I was like, how far is the walk home? And they were like, about a mile. I was like, let's walk. They were like, why? And I was like, I
don't want to break my wrist.
Right. Like we've had a few beverages.
We've been drinking all day.
Right. Like I don't feel safe.
These things are super front heavy.
Yeah.
And if you jam on the brakes, you'll regret that.
And as she said, nobody wears a helmet on.
Well, right. You just put your thing in to start going, but it's not like there's a helmet sitting there with it.
Right. If you take the Lime or something like that, right, that's on you.
Yeah. So that's why I'm with you. I'm not shocked there's a lot of injuries there. All right. I joked around with my jokes about the Michigan-Ohio State game. First of all, great weekend of football.
Absolutely. Even though the Ravens lost, I would still say it was a great weekend of football. Yeah.
Right. Thanksgiving Day, you had good games. Mm-hmm. Right. There were some good college games on Friday. I'll be honest with you, the NFL, I completely forgot there was a game on Black Friday.
Oh, and how many times are the Chiefs going to walk away with a victory just for whatever reason?
Until they win another Super Bowl.
They always win and just pull it out.
But like I was watching college football on Friday. I completely blanked on that game being on until somebody texted me and I was like, what's everybody complaining about the Chiefs for? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So then Saturday, and I want to set this up for people. If you're not into college football rivalries run very deep, right? And they're very passionate. Now, Michigan-Ohio State has the nickname simply the game, right? If you look up the biggest rivalries in all of American sports, that one generally is near the top of the list with your Yankees-Red Sox.
Right,
you know
but that's
like
still
NFL
different.
Rivalries kind of can depend on decade, what teams winning, what teams losing.
How recently the team is relocated.
Correct. But these are massive, massive deals. So Michigan, obviously last year, won a national title, which sucked to see in person. But, they're playing at Ohio State. Michigan did not have a great year. They're having a down year. Harbaugh's gone. Now, a few years ago, the last time, because Ryan Day, the coach of Ohio State, he's only beaten Michigan once. And Harbaugh had kind of a funny line. Ryan Day has never coached, he's never been the head coach at a major university. And Harbaugh said he was born on third base, meaning like he never took it at bat. He's already there, right? Which, if you're a sports person, is a very subtle but very insulting thing to say to somebody. So that game, we get it on, we're watching it. After the game, Michigan obviously wins. Nobody thought they'd win. They were 23-point underdogs. So then after they win, they go out there. Ohio State, to their credit, they always stand in front of their band. Win or lose, you play the alma mater. Michigan gets their Michigan flag. They're going to run out and plant the flag in the middle of the field. Well, I mean, an all-out brawl breaks out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to the point of, like, I'm explaining to my friend that's watching it with us. She's like, because I'm like, this is bad. No. She's like, where do you draw the line? Like, football's a violent sport. I said, it is. But we had 60 minutes to decide it.
And you're playing within the rule. It's like boxing. It's a violent sport, but you don't just fight after it's called.
Correct. And look, you could make a lot of arguments, right? Like planting flags. I don't know if you have to do it all the time, but that rivalry is so deep. And then Ryan Day, the head coach, like he looked shell-shocked. You know what I mean? Like, my brother made a good point today. It's like, you ever seen those war movies where, like, the battle's over and the one dude's just standing there?
There's always that guy, right?
Right. He looked shell-shocked. And, like, we were saying, like, look, I know you're the coach at Ohio State, and you're not wrong that you always say you're a leader of men. But, like, in that situation,
lead.
You got to run in there, and you got to start grabbing dudes from your team and pulling them back and going, get the F out of here. You know what I mean? I mean, the police, you had a cop get trampled.
Yep.
Then the cops are pepper spraying people. And the whole day just kind of went off the rails. Then you got other teams planting flags. So it's like, you're not Michigan, Ohio State. Like Arizona State, you're supposed to win that game. You don't need to plant your Sun Devil at Arizona Stadium.
You're in the same state.
Right. Some of them were just silly. And look, I am a fan of, like, don't mess with somebody's logo in the middle of their field.
Agreed.
Right, we saw it years ago with Terrell Davis when he was playing for the Niners. Terrell Owens.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, Terrell Davis. Terrell Owens scores a touchdown. He ran out to the star, and the guy from the Cowboys punched him off it, right? So, like, it's a double-edged sword. I just think it looks horrible for the sport.
But you know what you're getting into if you choose to try to trample on someone's logo.
Correct.
You're going to get hit. I understand the point you're making, but like I said, it's like someone coming into my house and planting their flag in my living room. But yeah, I'm going to take issue with that. Doesn't mean I'm going to beat your ass, but I'm going to take issue with that.
Yeah, and the other thing,
do you used to take over the middle of the field?
I was going to say, the other thing, too, is, like, win the damn game, right? Like,
you had your shot to prevent that.
Right, not so much with being a Maryland fan or whatever, but there was some DeMatha stuff where there's some nights, right? Like, say you're the scorekeeper for the number one basketball team in the country, and you lose at a damn preseason tournament to your arch rival Gonzaga. There is some pissed off people, pissed off fans in that locker room, right? But Coach Wooten just sat everybody down and said, hey, like, basically, you got to eat this one, boys.
Yeah.
He would never say you asked the bed, but, like, you lost the game, right? What are you going to do? You going to go out there and fight somebody about it? Like, there's no point.
Ted, away, home, it didn't matter. The middle of the field belonged to the Christian athletes at the end of the game. Both teams would prayer circle. Yeah, and they would get in a circle and they would pray. And it didn't matter how big the rivalry was. It didn't matter.
Players from both teams went out there.
They shook hands. They held each other's hands. They got in a circle. They prayed. You walk off the field, game over.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it.
And that's one of those sign of respects, too. That's why everybody warms up on separate sides or whatever, but that's why the captains get to come out to the logo.
Yeah.
And Miles is right. You're right. And there is a just crazy video of, like, 3 Ohio State guys, like 2 Michigan guys praying near the logo, and then you see the Ohio State player run by screaming, and Ryan Day is just sitting there, and you literally see him mouth to a player, what happened? Like, sir, it is too late to worry about what happened.
You're right. Deal with it.
You know what I mean?
What's going on, fellas?
Right. Like, at that point, that's what I'm saying. Like, as I was watching it, and the fights kept getting worse. I'm like, somebody's got to get in there and start ripping people apart. And like we were saying in the office, they will listen to him because he is the head coach.
Yep.
Also, just kind of crazy. Even if they win a national title, they still might fire him. That's how big that game matters.
Right.
Now, let's talk about craziness that happened to be in our favor, Mike. That Seahawks game was the oddest damn game I've ever seen in my life. We got punters getting hurt. All right. We got kickoff returns for touchdowns. We got defensive linemen scoring pick sixes.
From 80.
Yeah. That was not a small man.
Missed kicks, like a missed extra point. Like, I mean, Mike and I had talked about getting together. We didn't. And then I told today, I go, we should have got together. That second half was wild.
Well, we got home. You know, we were making the long drive back from Canada on Sunday, and we got home right around as the first half was ending. And as I'm listening to the game on the radio and I'm looking at the score on TV, like, this was an okay game for me not to go over to Ted's. But then as I'm just sitting there in the second half, like, well, doggone it, this is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And it's just a crazy day in the NFL. The NFL, to their credit, outside of the Chiefs, because they exist in their own thing.
Yeah, right.
Like, it is a league of parity. And
But even the Chiefs are part of the parity because even though arguably they're the best franchise out there, they win by like 1/1000th of a point.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is close to the Chiefs. Even if you're the worst team in the NFL, somehow you play them, you're just as good as they are.
A couple things on HBO. You might want to check out the Yacht Rock documentary. Documentary.
Okay.
That is out. I have that recorded. I might watch some of that tonight. And then, ironically, Hard Knocks in season, which is in the NFC North.
Yes, it is.
Right. So you get to see all the behind the scenes on the Steelers, the Ravens. the Bengals
and Browns.
The main thing is, I just like yesterday, somebody asked Mike Tomlin if he likes being on it. And he just said, no.
That's Mike Tomlin.
Yes, you asked.
You asked that man a question. He's going to give you an answer.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You hear that, America? The mountain is calling. Calling you on this cloudy Tuesday morning with a very important message.
Get off your ass.
So grab an ice cold Mountain Dew, some friends, and do something you'll enjoy even more than the lifestyle content you're keeping up with. The mountain is calling. Answer. Do the do.
I'm Anna Garcia with True Crime News, the podcast. Every crime tells a story. Every story demands justice. True Crime News, the podcast, covers breaking crimes, investigating high-profile and under-the-radar cases. Every week, we dive beyond the headlines, exploring the effects of violent crimes on victims and search for justice. We hope you join us as your weekly source for true crime news. Listen to and follow True Crime News, the podcast, on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
Here we go. BC Man goes on a 10-day hike, gets lost for 50 days. Also sitting and catch one fish.
Not one.
Meanwhile, Grandma gets drunk on Thanksgiving and serves up a family stabbing type dish. IHOP fires a waitress who gave a stack of pancakes to someone in need. If you're in the UK, maybe don't smoke cigarettes, just smoke weed. And the most expensive property in the U.S., it's on the market and about to become the world's largest swimming pool. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
And our top story, we go to the UK, where a woman was issued a citation. She'd been tracked down thanks to surveillance footage and identification technologies and cited for the crime of dropping a cigarette on the ground. But there's a couple issues with the fine, you see. She's never been to the city that she was accused of dropping the cigarette in.
And she's got a really good flick.
Wow. That's right. And secondly, she didn't even smoke, Ted.
Okay.
She fought the ticket with some proof that she had, saying that she was somewhere else at the time of this heinous crime, and the citation was canceled. They followed information that she gave them saying that it could be somebody that she knew back in high school, but that was a dead end as well, and yet again, the citation was canceled. Local government officials assure the public that they will indeed get to the bottom of this.
Where was this at?
Somewhere in the UK, I'm not positive.
Tell you that I don't smoke and I've never been there.
Right.
Try again.
And why are we trying so hard? Did it start a fire? I gotta get it. It's unsightly. We don't want to encourage that, and we don't condone that.
It was what, like a 75-pound fine, or about $81?
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean, it's like a littering fine, and her point is like, I don't smoke, and I've never been to your city.
Right.
I'm not saying there's no cigarette butt. I'm just saying it ain't me.
She's got family that lives close, but she's never been to that.
Can't believe they ID'd her.
Right.
Oh, that's the person.
That's the one.
Town.
That's the one.
Yeah. How does that work?
Right.
You're not there and you don't smoke, but somehow the computer's like, it's you.
That's the one. Well, and then she said, it looks like somebody that I knew in high school. And they were like, yep, that's definitely her. Is her the citation? They were like, no, you're wrong again. So
we're giving someone the citation, damn it.
We will get to the bottom of this, damn it. In other news, the holidays can be a stressful time, and while family encounters may not always be the most fun, one in Memphis, Tennessee takes the cake. Authorities were called about a domestic disturbance in the area in which Grandma may have had a few too many. The story goes that she shoved her grandson during the Thanksgiving festivities and was confronted by her daughter, his mom. The dispute was just a verbal argument for most of the time, but Grandma upped the ante and armed herself with a knife from the kitchen and charged her daughter.
Damn!
The woman sustained some abrasions from the attack, and the grandson actually suffered a stab wound to his hand before old Meemaw ran off. She was later apprehended by police without incident and is facing charges.
I mean, come on. That's intense.
You can't stab your family on Thanksgiving, man. I don't care what you're talking about.
People argue at Thanksgiving. You can't stab your kids.
Right.
It's a general rule as a parent. I'm not the best parent, but I don't stab my children.
And
not on Thanksgiving.
Not on Thanksgiving.
Right. Right. It's a tradition of the Smith house on Easter.
Yes. Well, Easter Sunday,
Easter stabbing, of course.
Easter stabbing.
Yes.
And then you eat ham.
Who's the lucky one that gets the gold stabbing this year?
Well, we just do it. Whoever opens their chocolate egg and gets the little gold ticket.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you get to get stabbed.
You get stabbed by the bunny. You just sharpened the carrot. Don't sleep with one eye open, kid. It's coming. We go down to Florida where IHOP is doing a little damage control. An employee at a local branch found herself in the news after a man walked in saying that he was hungry and had no way to pay for food. Without a second thought, the woman immediately bought the hungry man a stack of pancakes for him to enjoy and then informed her manager of the situation.
Oh, she bought them for him.
Right. Didn't just give them. She actually opened up her wallet and paid for this man to have a stack of pancakes. To her surprise, the manager got upset and warned her that it would cause a loitering issue for the branch or even a safety issue for the customers. Shortly following this good deed, she received a call from the manager informing her that she had been fired from her position, citing company policy as the reason for her termination.
Do you know how long she'd worked there?
No.
13
That's right, 13
years.
Right. Over a decade she'd put into that branch.
You can't just say, look, that was my shift meal.
Right.
There's not a way to work around this.
Because then he'll come back, Miles, because he did come back with another family who then bought him another meal.
Okay, well, good. People are doing good.
No.
And they choose IHOP.
Then they're going to just be outside my store all the time looking for stacks of pancakes. See?
And you keep making money on it.
That's right.
That's the best loitering problem to have is that they loiter, but I get money.
Right.
Please loiter.
Now, on the other end of things, her story made it to the local news, and she was contacted by IHOP Corporate, who offered her a job and compensation for lost wages after she was let go.
You should have contacted her Waffle House.
Going on
or
to say
Denny's. Yeah, exactly. We'll take her. Come work with us.
They're going on to say that that they're using this as an opportunity to inform their employees on proper practices when it comes to food insecurity, when it comes to people coming in needing some help. Yeah, they're basically saying that that manager didn't do the right thing there.
You don't say.
They're not proud of that.
Also, it's not like you gave away a half pound of bacon.
Thank you.
The price point on pancakes is pretty low, all things considered.
You are murdering your
You gave
customers
away
with
toast.
this. Right.
Look, I like IHOP, but basically whatever you order, it's like, and a couple pancakes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like sometimes they just throw it in. It's like, I got an omelet, but thanks for the pancake.
Right. It's like giving out a free soda from a fast food joint. Like, they don't care. They're killing people on that anyway. But just in case those stories have a bad taste in your mouth.
Thankfully, there's good news.
To our friends to the north in Canada, where a hiker has been found, a local man wanted to put his survival skills to the test while on a fishing excursion, ended up extending his stay unexpectedly. He was exploring a provincial park roughly 660 miles north of Vancouver. Side note, holy cow. A park that is target for adventurists, which warns of dangers such as unexpected weather patterns, wild animals like wolves and bears, as well as non-potable water. During his hike, he was thrown off his course in an attempt to escape from attacking wolves and ended up having to build himself a shelter in the wilderness. You know.
What is the shelter you build from wolves? My shelter is climb a tree.
This led to a 50-day period in which he was lost in the woods trying to find his way out, along with family and authorities on the other side trying to locate him after they realized that he was missing. In the end, he was found by surveyors 50 days after he had left, and that he happened upon these surveyors here, and he was taken to the hospital to recover. His only regret, Miles, you said it, didn't catch a single doggone fish.
How did he eat?
I don't know, but I will say this.
He had a fishing pole and gear.
Didn't catch a damn thing
Not
out
one.
there. Didn't catch a cold.
But you can't argue his survival skill. Orienteering,
That's a fact.
yes. Fishing, yes.
Honorary
Survival,
Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
They don't call it catching.
Men's Room Sports, you got NBA basketball on TNT and True TV, college hoops on ESPN affiliates, FS1 and Big Ten. And your Seattle Kraken are currently in Carolina battling the Hurricanes over on Kong and on Amazon Prime. As far as your weather, we've got a nice break in the weather here for a minute, but that means that the big chill is on its way. We should have a few clouds moving into night with temperatures dropping to 32 overnight. As for tomorrow, be prepared for some clouds and fog in the morning, followed by sunny skies and high of 46 in the afternoon. And that is it for headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. The random Would You Rather question tomorrow.
Yes,
Along
indeed.
with Who Sucks Less, the lovely Jolene's up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Christmas. Right now, all over the country, kids at Shriners Hospitals for Children are able to go home and be with their families for the holidays. And it's only possible because of the monthly support of people just like you.
Please go to loveshriners.org to give right away. Thanks to a generous donor, every dollar you give will go 3 times as far.
Thank you for giving.